We are. It says we're live. It says end broadcast. I'm not going to click that, so I think we're live. And we got a couple of creatures. We got a couple of creatures back in the back room there, since we can only hold 6 of us. Foss is back there, and George is back there. So we'll bring them out if they have anything to say. You guys got the side chat there. Make sure you use it. Thanks for watching the closer. We are live, and we got some chitter chatter, and some pitter patter out there. Little pitter patter, little feet, you cute little some bitches. Couple of guys in the chat here, and then there's a few others out there. G23's out there, Grim's out there, J Monty's out there, Lockjaw's out there. What's going on, homie? So I was kind of stingy with the links because I really just sent them to people that generally jump on the show because we can only hold 6. So if you didn't get a link and you want one, let me know. I'll shoot you one. I didn't need anybody getting all butthurt out there thinking I don't like you no more because I didn't send you a link. Pfeiffer's out there. Ghost is out there. What's going on, guys? And in here, Nighthawk, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, not much, man. Thanks for sending me a link. I feel all special now.
Yeah, I know. It's all warm and gooey in here, isn't it?
It is. It's totally warm and gooey.
Moo, what's happening? What do you got new to show us? I think you got something cool.
Yeah, I just picked up a Colt 1908 today in 25 ACP.
Nice.
And the nickel finish.
Nickel finish. Careful how you care for that nickel finish. They don't like certain solvents.
That is correct.
Yeah, you gotta watch. I learned that the hard way.
What'd you use?
You don't want to use anything harsh. You want to take it real easy with it. A lot of and it makes perfect sense. But me being a young gun owner at the time didn't really put 2 and 2 together that. And I didn't understand that first thing they do when they nickel plate something is they copper plate it. So you take steel, you copper plate it, then you nickel plate it. So what you don't want to use is a gun solvent that can erode copper.
No.
And I had my 9mm got it's not a great finish to begin with, but I had used, just like I'd always done since I was a kid, just used like Hoppy's number 9 or whatever. And it got underneath some of the places that weren't amazingly finished, and so that shit just flakes off now in some spots. And if you look inside my slide, I just took a wire brush to it now because fuck it, who cares, and just scraped it. Just flaked it all off, but it's fine. It's super reliable. It's a great shooting gun. It's just to look at it from the inside out, it looks like garbage now.
Electroplating is not all that difficult. You might can do something with that.
I want to have it Cerakoted eventually, I think, just have somebody strip it all down and do it like in black, or do it in maybe even like a fun color, something different,
And send it
we'll
to Snob
see.
and have it rainbow plated.
Yeah, there you go. I actually had the barrel polished because it's the first thing that flaked off because it had scraped the slide, when it was some guns do that, not all guns, but some guns do that. So I'd actually taken it in and had that polished. So I was thinking about even just taking it to somebody and like, polish this son of a bitch. Let's see what happens, just see, because it's all steel. It's a steel slide and everything. So just to see what the hell would happen. It'd be kind of cool to have a shiny gun. So we'll see. Guns and Barbecue, what's happening, buddy?
Not a whole lot. How about yourself?
Same old. Nothing new here ever.
Yes, same here. Well, unless you count kidnapping that spy that Gizzard Gary sent my way.
Uh-oh, I didn't hear anything about that.
Oh, yeah. You'll have to go check out my message for Gizzard Gary video.
I missed it. How did I miss that? I didn't even see you put out a video. I must have been. You know what? Maybe I got unsubbed or something again. I was unsubbed to 2 or 3 people. I had to resub to after I heard videos that they had put out. I was like, oh yeah, I just did this video about so and so, and I wasn't subscribed to him anymore. Last week, I had 805 or 806 subs at the beginning of last week. The end of last week, I had 795 that just vanished. And today I've got 805 again. They're back. So I don't know what the hell. I mean, YouTube's fucking crazy, man. You never know what the hell you're going to get. So.
I know personally, if I lost 805 subs, that would be bad.
Hey.
Well, I didn't lose 805. I went from 805 to 795. So I lost 10, but then I lost 11 and then gained 10 back in a couple of days without getting any subscriber notifications. So who the hell knows what's going on? I don't know. Ape, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, not a whole lot, really. Just kind of recovering from doing absolutely nothing. So.
Oh, that should be easy then.
Yeah. Had Thanksgiving with the folks. We made several Instant Pots with soup, so been eating a lot of that. A lot of good beer cheese soup and some homemade minestrone.
Oh, cool!
Heck yeah!
Mm-hmm.
How do you do your cheese soup? Do you use a roux with it or no?
I don't know. I just put the ingredients together, and she just added the stuff to the Instant Pot. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that was one of those kind of like pre-Black Friday deals, with all the Kofifi going around. Everybody, like Walmart started with, oh yeah, we're not doing Black Friday, but here's the cheap crap that we're saying is on sale like a week in advance. So she got a slightly betterer Instapot than the one she had. So then she ended up buying this. Literally, I think it's the step-by-step idiot's guide to using the Instapot. So, yeah, the cheese soup was pretty good. Probably could have used a little less. I forget. It was like cream cheese or some kind of like fancy cream cheese that goes in it. It's a little too salty, but you're supposed to like dunk pretzels in it but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's more of a cheese dip than a cheese soup. Yeah, that's always one of the culinary. That's one of the culinary. Gray lines, imaginary lines is what's the difference between a sauce and a soup? Almost nothing, right?
Well, it depends. If I dip this cracker halfway in it and the blob on it is twice the width of the cracker, that's a sauce.
Yeah. Depends on how much holds onto a cracker. Is that what we're saying?
Or the spoon or whatever. If I can turn it upside down and count 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, kind of like they used to do with the blizzards at DQ.
There's actually a term in French cooking, to determine the thickness of your sauce, like how the thickness that your sauce should be. And it's called nappe, N-A-P-P-E, I believe, or N-A-P-E-E. I get what's French. Who the fuck knows? I can't remember. 2 P's or 2 E's or both, maybe. And what you do is, while your sauce is, when you're making your sauce, you're stirring it with a spoon. You stir it and you pick that spoon up and you take your finger and you make a line. And it should take 4 seconds for that sauce to connect. That's the thickness that your sauce should be. When you're telling a cook, like, hey, I need this sauce, I want it to be, take it to nappe. That's what it is. It's kind of neat. It's a measurement of thickness, I guess you could call it. Density, viscosity. I don't fucking know.
Viscosity.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it would be viscosity. There you go. Culinary
Don't give me none of this 3-second crap.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's too loose. If it runs in 3 seconds or it runs in 2 seconds or whatever, it's 3 or 4 seconds.
This stuff needs to be piping hot, and I need to have it inverted for at least a half an hour.
That's right.
And Campbell's needs to have produced it.
Gross.
No. We stopped using our supply of Campbell's. We had to go to Progressive.
Progresso?
Gotcha.
No, Progressive. It's like Progresso, only the
Only
flavors are kind of different. It's like Millstone, and it's beef if we say it is.
Dollar store.
There you go. Defense Dad, what's happening?
Not much. I had to hit the mute button. Oh,
There you go.
had a good week. Had our Thanksgiving dinner and spent most of Thursday at the range. Made some videos. Not too bad.
Good. Yeah, you and Travis P11 were up there busting caps, right?
Yeah, we went through, between the two of us, about 400 rounds of 9mm.
Well, now, well, big shot. I didn't know we were in the. I didn't know we were in the presence of royalty here, Mister 400 rounds.
I shot 3 videos and he shot 2.
Mm.
That's Lamborghini payment right there.
I know.
Yeah.
Man.
Anyway, I'm gonna next time somebody asks me how expensive something is, I'm like, well, it's not Travis P11 and Defense Dad expensive, but it's up there.
Well, now I got to shoot nothing but 22 for the next year.
he's trying to figure out how he can reload his own 22.
They make
Can you
kits for
reload
them.
that shit?
Actually,
You
I'm
load
still,
this shit
sitting
back
on,
up?
I'm still sitting on about 3,000 rounds of 9, but that's got to last me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're good to go till you got 1,000 to burn there. DD and P11 are the new never enough ammos. Yeah. So and then like I said, I got Foss and I got George back there. George, hold on. I'm going to throw somebody in the Ape. I'm going to throw you in the back here real quick. George.
Yo,
George?
what's up?
I hear it's your.
Going
Is
on?
it true? Is it true? It's your birthday.
It's my birthday today, November 29th.
Nice.
I am now officially, if I invert the numbers, I'll be 25 today. I'm 25.
Outstanding.
I'm not really 25. I am 52 today.
Oh, well, happy birthday there, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Birthday.
You almost made it through
You guys.
2020. We'll cross our fingers for you and see if we get it through the rest of the way.
Awesome. Thanks.
We could be. We got one more month to go. It could end up in apocalypse or nothing. Who knows? I mean, it could be anywhere.
I am hypothesizing, theorizing that this vaccine for the COVID-19 will actually start us into the Walking Dead, real life Walking Dead. You know, remember, everyone had the virus. Everyone had the zombie virus in them. So whether they died either by bullets or by bitten by a zombie, they still became a zombie. So
that's true.
Just a thought.
That's very true.
So get that prepping ready.
Yeah, for sure. Bring Foss up here. Foss, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. Just hanging out back with Jorge.
Yeah, you guys be good back there. Remember,
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was really dark in the back room, and I was feeling my way around, and I accidentally touched Foss. So sorry, Foss. No homo. No, I love you, guy. You know.
Yeah. Remember, practice safe chatting. Always wrap it up. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, I didn't see that it was StreamYard, or I wouldn't have probably jumped in. But
that's cool. You guys just, it's not a big deal for me to pop people in and out from the back room there. Pop you in the old back door. So if somebody wants in or out, let me know, and I'll switch you guys around. So just I've got the YouTube chat separate, so I've got the private chat up. If you guys type in there, just let me know, and I'll switch you in and out. So,
sounds good. I figured I'd just listen without the delay and back.
That's cool. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see. What do we got going on there? What do we got going on here? This week. Hold on. Got nonsense. Got bullshit. No, I don't want notifications. No. All right. You will share this. How many members of Congress are armed on the job? So this is pretty interesting. I know the chick's name, Lauren Boebert. She was just elected in Colorado. She's a Republican and wanted to carry to and from Congress. So this is just a quick story, which is really good for us. It gets somebody's willingness or want to carry for personal protection sort of out there in the open and talked about, which is really good. It's basically, Washington, D.C. has been a mess with concealed carry or with carry permits in general. They don't like it. They don't like to do it. They don't feel like doing it. But concealed carry in the district of D.C. is a fairly new phenomenon. It wasn't until 2017 that the district actually established a process by which folks could obtain a carry license and shall issue concealed carry. Didn't exist in our nation's capital until 2018, when the D.C. Court of Appeals struck down the district's good cause requirement. There was also only like one or two places down there that one of them just closed this past year. That one of the only FFLs down there, probably because there's no damn business for them, unfortunately. They're not enough, and you would think there would be a ton, only having one or two of them. But so Lauren Boebert, 33, was elected this month from a conservative Western Colorado district after gaining notice as a brash pro-gun activist who straps a Glock on her hip in an upset last June. She defeated five-term Representative Scott Tipton for the GOP nomination, in part by claiming she wasn't an ardent enough backer of President Donald Trump. Boebert asked Capitol Police officials about carrying her weapons when she and other House freshmen taking office in January were in town recently for orientation programs, according to congressional officials. Both people, a Democrat and a Republican, spoke on condition of anonymity to describe her request. I can't believe I pronounced anonymity right. I never pronounce that word right. I always
Nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it. Jackpot. Aides to Boebert, who Trump endorses as a fighter who will never bow down to establishment in Congress, did not make her available for an interview. This was a private discussion and inquiry about what the rules are, and as a result, the Congresswoman-elect won't be going on the record, Boebert aide Laura Carno said in an email last week. So they're keeping kind of hush-hush about it, which is not surprising, I guess. The last thing they would want to do is say, yeah, you can carry to protect yourself. And then, our side says, well, if she can carry, why can't we? And then if they say no, then, we get pissed off and say, well, that's bullshit. She should be allowed to carry if she wants to. So, it's a kind of it's a tough little situation that they're in. They probably see it as a no-win. She wouldn't be the first member of Congress to carry. Just how common the practice is remains unknown. In fact, under the rules established by the Capitol Police Board back in the late 60s, members of Congress don't need to notify the agency that they're carrying. So there's no real way of determining just how many Congress critters are strapped while on the job. Did Budget write this? Congress critters? What the hell? As you can imagine, anti-gun politicians aren't happy about the fact that their colleagues may be exercising their Second Amendment rights on Capitol Hill. Back in 2018, Jared Huffman, a California Democrat, tried to change the rules and bar colleagues from carrying. Go figure, he's from California. But met with stiff opposition. Oh, really? Okay, well, so they want it. You got a lot of opposition to that. That's good. Or is it? Is it good? Or is it? Or are we indifferent about this? Because no matter what the result is it? Do you think it's gonna? Do you guys think it's going to help us, hurt us, or is it just going to be another thing that happens that it doesn't change anything? What do you guys think?
Well, I'm unsure if a plutocrat being able to be armed necessarily translates directly to support of what they consider to be the common folk being armed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it'll change anything. Look at how many things they can do that they don't allow other people to do.
That's kind of what I'm getting at is they could allow them to do it. They could say yes, you don't even have to tell us, and that's not going to equate at all to the general public. The other citizens. I mean, they're just going to be like, "Oh, tough shit. That's just how it is."
Yep.
He also
it's
said,
usually
with lawmakers exempted from passing through screening devices throughout the Capitol campus, no one checks to make sure they're not bringing guns onto the House floor. So they don't even check. They trust them. They're trustworthy.
Yeah,
they don't ever get pissed off. They don't ever, nothing ever bad happens.
We're past the point of polite political discussions as a country. We have been spoiled in that we've had a very, very long time of what's considered to be reasonably peaceful politics in our country. If you look at other nations, there are flat out brawls that happen in the halls of their leadership groups. So I don't know. We may see our first shootout in Congress one day.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've never been, and we were kind of talking before the chat about, how we got into this and what we've done in the past and, how different things are for us now and doing shows and doing chats and stuff. I was not into politics at all. And over the past year or so, I've gotten more and more into it. I'm not great with politics. I'm like, I guess you would call me like a layman. I don't, I'm horrible with political jargon and, that kind of stuff. But one of the things that you do notice is you start looking at some of the heated conversations and some of the really snide kind of remarks that you see some of these guys making, these little quips that they, these little jabs that they take at each other. And and then, in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, man, I've seen videos of like Thailand and places in Asia that, that they get in these freaking slobber knocker throwdown fist fights in the middle of their, their law house, whatever, even their political houses or whatever. And I think like, holy shit, like, are we coming to that? Like, is one of these days, is it just going to cut loose and you're going to have people swinging on each other,
Well,
and over there, it's
in the Senate.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Because like, if you remember seeing past videos when they would have their little meetings and stuff, and they would, like you said, they would get in brawls, or they would start throwing their shoes at the person they're mad at.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was just going to say. Like, I remember seeing one not, a year or two ago where he had a woman took her shoe off and started slamming another dude in the back of the head with her shoe.
Well, there was a pro-slavery Democrat that beat abolitionists in the Senate nearly to death in the 1800s. So it has happened before.
Yeah, but overall, we're nothing compared to some of these other nations. And I think as we continue to separate in perspectives, we will either see lines drawn, and I think we're seeing this to some extent now, lines drawn within the parties that split them, or, if you were to argue from the context of left and right, we no longer have common ground on some very significant issues, with neither group really being willing to move that line for either moral reasons or philosophical reasons. And so, yeah, it could get pretty nasty in the near future.
Yeah, it's yeah. I just I hope it doesn't come to that. I mean, I feel like the situation we're in right now with our election is embarrassing enough without watching the squad and getting a fist fight with Matt Gaetz and they're throwing chairs at each other like the Geraldo show when they had the skinheads on and stuff,
I remember that one.
Boy, yeah.
Oh man, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was some shit, dude, back in the day.
Yeah, I agree with you about what you're talking about. Nighthawk Medic, when he's talking about politics, it's just like people now these days are just so, if you don't think like them, have the same opinion or whatever, it just goes nuts. People just go nuts. And so far, we're lucky that people only do this on, they do it on social media. right? And of course, only like when they go to protests and stuff like that. But I mean, geez, man, just because you may be Democrat, Libertarian, Republican, and stuff, you should be able to have a civil conversation and just say, "Oh, okay, you're Democrat. Oh, okay, that's cool." You shouldn't be in the shouting match saying, "Hey, oh my God, you're a fascist, or you're this or that, or white supremacist, or whatever they say." It's just darn crazy. It wasn't like that in the past, in the early, in the 90s and the 80s, 2000s. And I agree, some people had their opinions, but it was never like it is now today. And I think because of social media is one of the things that made that possible. Just people just going nuts over now, very political and stuff.
You might also argue the concept that never have rights that are universally considered to be inherent to being an American been under such assault. I know we like to talk about the fact that the Second Amendment is always under assault, but there was not a political candidate in the United States until about 10 years ago that had the nuts on them to say, "I'm going to come take your guns." That would have gotten you shot in the street.
Oh, it was political suicide up until
Yeah.
a decade ago, for sure. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So a lot of this vitriol we're seeing now is, guys, I would never have dreamed about saying something like they should haul that guy off as a communist and blow his brains out, referring to a political candidate 10, 15 years ago. And now I see communism in the United States, and that's how you deal with treason. You know what I mean? And so ultimately, a lot of the vitriol, the frustration, the anger is directly related to, our differences in perspective.
Yeah.
Well, it's like what's crazy now is like ever since like they said Biden has been our elected president right now, hasn't been officialized yet. But I mean, people have already been saying, okay, for all the Trump supporters, start Snapchat, that Snap screen that you can get you so you can get all their tweets and all their posts and stuff like that. And then now they're saying so they can record all these people so that way we can get them unemployed and not be able to get any kind of benefits or any kind of thing. It's like, what the heck? I don't think we Republicans said anything like that. I mean, these people are going nuts. I mean, they want us, like not to have work or any kind of freedoms or anything like that because we voted Republican. I mean, that is just crazy.
Well, not really. It's just communism. I mean, if you look at the Communist Manifesto, they're working their way right down through the Communist Manifesto, top to bottom. If you look at it, if you think of it as a civilized society, yes, it's insanity. If you think of it from the perspective of what the attempt is, then it all kind of comes into focus. You realize, oh, this is not unusual. This is just the plan.
Yeah.
See that to separate common sense in this country is getting thinner and thinner and thinner.
See, and that this thing's I don't know if anybody ever seen this old cartoon. It's similar like a World War I type of situation where, like, you got the helmet, the gas mask, and you got your rifle with the bayonet. And they're fighting, it's like I said, one country fighting over the other country. And then all of a sudden, one country takes over. And great, we took over. And then somehow it goes unrest. And now it becomes the meat eaters versus the vegetarians. And it just keeps going at it. It keeps going at it, and then, like, just seems like we're heading into that type of scenario, sooner or later. Say the Democrats get their way, the people that are all like trying to like, anti-fascism and all this kind of stuff. And then they're going to end up being the fascism and stuff like that. They're going to start fighting among each other saying, oh, well, you're a meat eater. Oh, no, you're vegetarian. Oh, you're this, or you're liberal. It's just going to keep going and going. There's not going to be like a utopian society,
I think with hopefully I think it's actually probably a good thing for us, if you consider us meaning somebody that's maybe more conservative. It's probably good that they have people that are, infighting. I mean, I think that's going to hurt them in the long run. Now, the scary part is when some of those people that are more extremists catch hold, and they take the lead and they start to pull ahead, however you want to say it. I think, with Biden getting elected, probably, however you want to say it, whether it was legit or not, if he ends up in the White House, I think they're going to find out real quick that he was full of shit, just like everybody else, and was just telling them what they wanted to hear to get them on his side. I think, AOC and all those knuckleheads are going to find out real quick that Joe doesn't give a shit about them. He doesn't give a shit about them, just like he doesn't give a shit about the people that are like them. He just needed to tell them enough to get the boost, to get the bump, Like, I don't know how you could, I mean, I don't know how you could think otherwise. I mean, I can't imagine there's anybody out there that pays even a little bit of attention to politics that can honestly say, like, oh no, I think they're all what they're telling me is true. I think probably 2% of it is. I think the rest of it is fluff, and the rest of it is to push them farther and to get them where they need to be. I think that's gonna what happens if he gets into the White House. What he doesn't do is gonna chafe a lot of asses with some people that really thought that they probably had him under their finger enough to push their agendas, and I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be a mediocre. If he's in office, he's going to be mediocre and not do much of shit while he's there, unless Kamala or somebody else really takes hold with something like gun control or whatnot. I don't think he wants to do it. I think he's just saying what he needs to say, because all these years he wanted to be president, and all these years he was setting himself up, and all these years he thought he was going to be president. Now he had the chance to do it. He said what he had to do to get it, and now he just wants to be it. I don't think he wants to push any agendas. He just wants to be the damn president, just to say he was the president.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think.
Well, I read an article.
Everybody wants go.
I'm sorry. I read an article already that people were already getting on him. He was something about, I think it was something about the vaccine. They're saying, hey, how about we all chip in for, to get it going and stuff like that. And people were like, dude, I don't have a job. I don't have money. How am I supposed to pitch in money and stuff? Yeah, there was like people already like, great, thanks, Biden. I thought you were supposed to be doing the work for us and stuff, helping us out, and everybody was like, wow, that didn't take long. People are now complaining to him now.
Well, the thing about it is, I'm less worried about the political arena than I am the cultural arena. And so if you look at it, it's not the political battle that we're getting whooped on, it's the cultural battle.
Well, I think you're right, and I think getting beat on the cultural front allows the political front's weaker ideas to actually move forward, if that makes sense.
Correct.
Okay. If the public doesn't give a shit, they'll do whatever the fuck they want, whether it makes sense or not,
Yep. And that's people aren't really registering that. And I always tell them, if you look at the amount of political correctness that has now become a normal part of society in your life, you can see how that will begin to degrade your freedom. And I will often illustrate, if you walk into most offices and discuss guns, religion, pro-life, or any of those topics, you are probably in danger of, at minimum, having a conversation with your direct manager, potentially the HR manager, and possibly even losing your job. Okay, for most people. But subjects that are acceptable are accusing a race of people based on the color of their skin of being less worthy than another race of people. Okay, so people who are supremacists to one color of skin over another. That's an acceptable conversation if you lean one way. It's an acceptable process for your company to donate to an organization that does that very same thing and publicly announce it. So we have just lost the cultural war.
Well, I think too, there's something to be said, and this is, a month or two ago, one of my cooks, and I have some really good conversations. He's a very open-minded guy. He's black. He's half Spanish, he's half Puerto Rican, half black. But he's just a good dude, and we have all these really cool conversations, and there's no hard feelings either way, and we can just be honest and we use whatever language makes sense. We don't like sugarcoat things or whatever, we don't, and they're really cool. And, we were in the middle of this conversation about, the riots and all this crazy shit that's going on, and, all these things that, people of color want, and they all the demands that they're making and all this kind of stuff. And, it was when a lot of the separate things were going, we want our own this and we want our own that. And we want to separate this and we want to separate that. And, we were, it's kind of conversations about this, and he's shaking his head. He's like, yeah, I know, it's crazy. And I was like, now, honestly, tell me, do you think all this that's going on right now is making people more or less prejudiced or racist, whatever term you want to use? And he just smiled and he says, no, you're dead on, man. He was like, I know, he's like, I feel the same way. He's like, I feel the same way. He's like, this is not helping anything in my mind. He's like, all this is doing is pushing people apart and making people more, even if it's just more suspicious of somebody of a different color. That's what prejudice is, So yeah, it's crazy. It's so weird to me to see things, and we were in this one conversation, and I said something that, and I'm a cook, right? So sometimes I think about things in a cook way. And I thought, we were in the middle of this really cool conversation for like 5 or 10 minutes. We were just doing prep and bullshit, we're standing beside each other. And we were talking about prejudice and race and, all the shit that's going on. I said, you know what? I said, I just had a really interesting thought. I said, racial change is like pizza dough. And he laughed at me. He said, okay, fucking, what are you talking about? I said, listen, when you make pizza, you make the dough, you let it rest, you slowly work it out, you take your time, and you got your nice thin pizza crust, right? If you go really, really fast, what happens? You form a lot of gluten, you form a lot of tension, and it rips and tears. I said, getting past racism needs to be slow and natural and easy, and let people sort of, I know people want things to be fast, but sometimes things that are done fast aren't done well, And he was like, God damn it, dude. That's like prolific. And I was like, yeah, that's a good one, huh? I was really proud of myself for that one. But it was just one of our really good conversations. And, I was like, wow, racism's like pizza dough. And it makes perfect sense to me, like take it easy, take it slow, let things happen naturally. And I feel like we're moving backwards in a lot of instances, Oh,
yeah. We definitely are. I grew up on Mel Brooks taunting racists in movies, right? If you watch any Mel Brooks movie, you realize real quick the people he's making fun of are the racists. Richard Pryor took the power out of the N-word forever and gave it to black people. He took it from racists and gave it to black people. And there's these lists of men in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s who just turned racism into a joke. I mean, when you think about it, the image of a member of the KKK went from hosting Democrat political parties to being a laughingstock. right? We evaluate them below the intelligence of the world's dumbest hillbilly, right? And so here in 2008, I see political candidates trying to encourage and grow racism in our country. And it blew my mind. I was like, we pretty much had the cultural part of this licked. And here you're beginning to reinstate a belief that there is some type of difference in us as human beings other than the ones we create through our own social ineptitudes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you get people again from both sides. For it's like I have a friend of mine I work with, and between her and the guy she's been with for years, they have 4 mixed race kids together, and she sees it from both sides. Racism on she's white and he's African American, and she gets racist comments and disapproving looks and comments from both sometimes people on his side of the family. She's treated differently when she's out in the public with him or without him, but both times with kids. And it's just it's not just white people being racist against black people. It's all over the place. And some of the stories she tells me about how she gets treated by people who are supposed to be accepting and free thinking, that sort of thing, is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
There's some of the most beautiful babies in the world. When human beings get mixed up, we make pretty babies. I love them.
Well, there was a comedian years ago. I can't remember who the hell it was, but he talked about that. He said eventually racism won't be a thing because, there's all these interracial couples. He's like, eventually we're all just going to be the same shade of gray. And
that's kind of what my dad said, that everybody will be equal when they're light tan. Yeah, unfortunately, he did his part to try and make that happen.
Yeah. He said eventually we'll all just be the same shade, different shades of gray, and we'll just be able to walk around and be like, "What's up, Gray?" He's like, "I don't know, Gray. How you doing, Gray? My Gray." It was pretty funny. Yeah.
I can remember we referred to ourselves as different shades of green in the Army.
Oh yeah. So on to the next thing. So we talked about you weren't on the show last week, Nighthawk. I was talking about that PA Bill 2957. We're all going to be Governor Wolf's militiamen.
Militia, yes.
Yeah.
That's terrifying if that goes anywhere.
It ain't going to go anywhere, I'm sure, but it's one of the craziest things. We actually went over a bunch of the stipulations in it, and it was pretty bananas. So one of the other things that I've bitched about for quite a long time is the fact that when Pennsylvania is under a state of emergency, it screws with our carry laws. Mm-hmm. Pennsylvania is shall issue. We have $20 permits, which is nice. We also have open carry if you don't have a permit. Now, there's ups and downs to this. Because we have open carry without a permit, it really has put the kibosh to us getting constitutional carry. It's been introduced a few times, I think, and it's always been shot down. And I think the reason that constitutional carry was always shot down was that we have open carry without a permit. But if you're open carrying without a permit, you're not allowed to be in a vehicle. Unless you're going to and from a range, to and from your place of business, or to and from like a gunsmith or something. Other than that, you're not supposed to have a handgun. I should just say handgun. A handgun in your vehicle without a permit. So it really sucks.
Handgun, Midnight. It's any loaded weapon. And it doesn't even have to be physically loaded. If the ammunition is accessible at the same time as the firearm, even if the ammunition's in the back seat and the gun's in the glove box. If the glove box is unlocked, they consider that to be easily accessible, and then the firearm's considered still loaded.
Yeah, heard that. So that's some straight stupid bullshit, right? So, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf to veto bills on carrying, selling guns during disasters. Governor Tom Wolf will veto legislation heading to his desk that would repeal longstanding laws intended to control the carrying of guns and prevent public officials from shutting down firearm sales during disaster emergencies declared by a governor. One thing that Pennsylvania does have is you can sell long guns privately. You can't sell handguns privately. They have to go through an FFL, but just to throw that in there, that you can sell long guns privately. Wolf, a Democrat, who has advocated for broader gun control measures, opposes the bill. The bills are the latest to pass the Republican-controlled legislation that sought to limit Wolf's power during the existing coronavirus disaster emergency and beyond. Wolf has vetoed more than a half dozen such bills. The current disaster declaration in place are meant to help the administration fight the public health crisis at hand and have no impact on citizens and their firearm rights, Wolf's office said in a statement. Of course it has something to do with your firearm rights if you're not allowed to carry a firearm. Well, that's damn near as dumb as the dude last week in that mall shooting where he said, well, if the guy didn't have a gun, nobody would have got hurt. Duh. That's pretty good. That's pretty good Dr. Phil impression right there. I'll tell you what. That was pretty solid. Let me tell you something, people. If you don't have a gun in the mall, nobody's going to get shot. So he's saying, well, this isn't impacting your rights on firearms. It's just impacting the firearms, you have the ability to have a firearm, which is fucking stupid. Both bills passed the Senate by identical 29-20 votes on Wednesday, with every Republican and the lone independent backing them and every Democrat against them. So here's another issue. Could we get more fucking partisan than that? Both bills passed the Senate with identical 29-20 votes. 28 Republicans, 1 independent against 20 Democrats. No, I mean, the fuck, dude. That just drives me nuts. Both received approval from the State House this year. One bill would repeal a provision that says no person shall carry a firearm upon the public streets or upon any public property, although people who have a concealed carry license are exempt. Bills, Matthew Dowling, Republican from Fayette, said the law could be used to limit people from open carrying a firearm, which is not generally prohibited in Pennsylvania. So we've been dealing with this because of the opioid crisis for the past couple of years. So this is just another one stacked on top of it. A lot of people didn't even know about the opioid thing. A lot of cops didn't even know about it or didn't give a shit. It's just not anything people ever heard of. I bet you most cops didn't even know that it was a thing. But the other bill is designed to prevent a governor or local government from shuttering businesses related to firearms and ammunition during a disaster emergency. Those include retail manufacturers, ranges, clubs, and hunting preserves. And then stay at home, blah, blah, blah. Wolf's been really rough on Pennsylvania, man. Wolf's been he's been one of those that he's been one of the state governors that's been trying to safe everybody else. I think he's trying to keep up with you guys up there in Michigan. Wednesday night was night before Thanksgiving is generally a really big drinking night. It's when now this year it was going to be probably garbage anyway. But Thanksgiving Eve is one of the first nights that kids that go away to college come home. So, over the years, what generally happens is kids that go away to college, that's the first time they're home on break from college, and they see their friends from high school and stuff like that, and they're 21 now and they want to go out and party. We weren't allowed to sell alcohol past 5 p.m. That was something that came down the pipes from him. So basically Wednesday night for us was a bust. It was kind of a bummer. We were allowed to serve food, but we weren't allowed to serve alcohol. So
that's crap.
And you're only allowed to serve alcohol if you have food. So, which was one of the things that was like, okay, so if you have to be eating food to be served alcohol, we were serving like, an order of fries or something. So people would get an order of fries and they'd snack on it and, something super cheap. And that way they were allowed to stay in there and drink. They weren't even allowed. We weren't even allowed to do that. So, so Governor Wolf has not been very well received by anybody with a small business, for sure.
Makes you miss Uncle Ed.
If you look, man, what was it during this coronavirus period? Something like $250 million was lost by small business in America. And then if you look at those numbers, they're almost recouped one for one by large corporations within our country. Nobody shut down Walmart. Nobody shut down Target, Sam's. None of these companies went down. But all the small businesses ate the brunt of that. And so it's basically a wealth transfer is what it amounts to, is one group of people being given access by the federal government while it being denied to other groups of people. The peasantry is not permitted to make their own industry.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and I do remember when some Walmarts were roping off certain sections. Remember, not every one of them, but some of them were like they were roping off certain sections that were, weren't allowed, or they weren't
critical, or
whatever you want to call it. Yeah, like weren't important. That didn't last very long. That lasted like a week, and they were like, "Well, this is fucking stupid," and they stopped doing it.
It kind of reminds me of the blue law, man, where you couldn't buy nothing but food on Sundays. So like when you would go to like a mini mart type grocery store, and they would rope anything else. Like you couldn't get a tablet of paper or pencils and stuff. It was just food. That's all you were able to get. It was like blue law Sundays or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they finally got into that. And then finally, like the malls were opening and other stores were opening and stuff, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I lived in a dry town.
Yeah, there's still some dry counties in PA. Yeah. All right.
So Midnight, can we touch on 2957 real quick?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Well, I had this idea, and I think I mentioned it on G23's show last night, but everybody's worried about this private militia that Wolf's going to try and create, things like that. And I'm kind of looking at it. One, like you said, probably not going to go anywhere because the way the House and Senate are in PA. But I'm also trying to look at it from an offensive aspect, where instead of worrying so much, we could use it against them. And if they're saying, hey, these weapons are only going to be good for the militia, and if you're not part of the militia, they're not good enough for you, and say, hey, wait a minute, back in 2008, the Supreme Court in the Heller decision said the people are the militia. So if they're saying that these weapons are only good for the militia, well, we are the militia, and they're outlining exactly what the militia needs at this point.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I know generally what came out with Heller, but I mean, maybe somebody give it a quick once over, and because I know that had something to do with, that wasn't with common use, right? Was that Heller or no? Heller was not. Didn't have anything to do with common use, right? Firearms. I get them mixed up. What was Heller again?
So wasn't that the carrying firearms in DC or whatever it was?
Yeah. Let me find here. I want something that I can understand.
The individual's rights to keep and bear arms, unconnected with service in a militia. for traditionally lawful purposes, such as self-defense within the home, and that the District of Columbia's ban, blah, 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 violated this guarantee.
I mean, that definitely throws a little bit of a monkey wrench in it. If they're saying you can only have this if you're in a militia, what are you saying? Like, well, who's to say what a militia is and what a militia isn't? Right? That's kind of what you're throwing out there.
Well, my point was that in that Heller decision, they said that the militia is the people.
Right.
So that would be all of us. So while they might be trying to make their own militia, the Supreme Court already said the militia is the people.
Well,
so
with 2957 though, I mean, I don't know. This 2957 is about them basically instituting a state-controlled militia, basically. I mean, state government-controlled militia. So I don't know if they would even. I mean, that would probably end up being something that would have to go to the Supreme Court for them to just determine whether that's allowed or not. I mean, I'm sure this would go to the Supreme Court no matter what, because it's a damn mess. Like I can't see it. I can't see it ever happening, but it is. If you guys didn't know about it, I mean, it is we talked about it last week on the second show last week. We went through it, and it is supposed to be a state government run militia that is given police powers, and they're the only ones, if you're a member, are the only ones that are allowed to buy and sell high-powered ammunition. And they defined high-power ammunition by anything above 22 caliber that has a certain weight. I mean, they define it super weird. I mean, I don't even know what calibers would be in it and what wouldn't be. But it went by the weight of the casing, the percent. I think it went by the percentage of the casing versus bullet weight and stuff. It was really weird. Like I don't know what the fuck they were trying to do there, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I think they would just, if they're thinking about doing something crazy as crazy as this. I mean, they're just going to circumvent everything that's been done in the past anyway. I don't think they give a shit about that.
Well, to me, when you're reading that, it read like they're trying to make so people can't say, "Oh, well, 5.56 or 2.23 is really 22 caliber," there because they have a lot of powder behind it. When you started reading that whole thing, I was like, "Wait, what the hell?"
Yeah, it was super weird.
And what I'm trying to say is, we could actually flip this on them though, because being as the people have been ruled as being the militia by the Supreme Court already, then they are outlining here that this weaponry is only good enough for the militia. And while they're saying that it's only good enough for their militia that they want to form, we can still say, well, wait a minute, if that's good enough for your militia, that's good enough for everybody's militia, and say you can't limit us on any of these things and do it nationwide. And like I said, go on the offensive with it, which I also think if maybe we did something like that, we just see them go, oh, well, we never made that. And this just disappears because they don't realize what can of worms they potentially opened.
I think people are forgetting that there are actually limits on the militia. There are very specific limits on the militia. There are age limitations on the militia. You are only allowed to be a member of a militia if you're between the ages of 18 and 43, I think. There's certain rules about how militias operate and who can deploy them. And so the reality of it is, if we fight this from a perspective other than it is an inalienable right and focus on something that already has strikes against any portion of our population, we will inherently lose. So remember, this is not based on the fact that there's a militia. It was written into the section of our laws that says your right to self-defense is considered to be an inalienable right. These things were established because God gave you these rights, not because we needed a militia.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be weird that they don't say that, like, okay, this is the militia that we're gonna make, right? Surprisingly, it's like they didn't say like, oh, it's gonna be only like to law enforcement only or something like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is kind of like trying to get people only qualified into the militia, so that way you are the only ones who are able to have like AR-15s and so ammo, or to have ammo and stuff like that. I know it's kind of like that, but it's just kind of weird that, you know, they didn't say like, oh, we're going to make our own militia, and it would be purely law enforcement and military. So this guys will be the only ones who will be able to carry, you know, rifle, you know, black rifles, or, you know, AR-15s, or whichever you like to say. You know, it just sounds kind of weird, you know, that, you know, like how they're trying to do this kind of militia type thing, instead of just saying, okay, you guys can make a militia, but, you know, there's no, like I said, a restriction, you know, like only these guys can carry and you can't, you know, and stuff like that, you know. Just kind of crazy. Don't make sense.
Ghost says, everything that anti-gunners or atheists don't believe in inalienable rights. I'm gonna say I am not a religious person. I'm not going to say I'm atheist. I'm not going to say I'm really nothing. I don't right at this point don't really believe in God. I'm not saying I won't someday. Maybe someday I will. I'm open-minded about it, but you know, I think I don't have any heavy beliefs on it. So he says everything that anti-gunners or atheists don't believe in inalienable rights. To me, when people say God-given right, is the same to me as saying birthright. I have a birthright to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. I have a birthright to self-defense, self-preservation. It doesn't have to be to me. And I think a lot of other people would believe this. Just because you don't believe in God doesn't mean you don't have birthrights. Ghost says, I call them natural rights. Yeah. So Ape has been throwing stuff out there. He says the definition says then this is the one that got me. Ammunition, high-powered ammunition shall be ammunition constructed entirely a combination of tungsten, steel. Okay, that's okay. A full jacketed projectile larger than 22 caliber and whose jacket has a weight of more than 25% of the total weight of the projectile. Like it's hard to wrap my head around that. Ammunition that is 50 caliber or greater. Flechettes, and fireball stuff, like all sorts of and then bolo shells, hollow nose, dum-dums, or other ammunition. So you won't be allowed to have hollow points. You won't be allowed to have anything above 22 caliber. Probably whoever the hell. I don't know. You got to do that math, I guess, to figure out what's legal and what's not. Nothing greater than 50 caliber. So, you wouldn't be allowed to do even. That brings some of the shotguns into it. Exothermic, pyrophoric, mesh, metal projectile. Yeah. So it is what it is. Sounds like they're trying to ban anything they would consider military style. But what I don't understand is a full jacketed projectile larger than 22 and whose jacket has a weight of more than 25% of the total weight. Like, I'm not really, that doesn't mean anything to me when you say.
So think about this. So 223, right? Technically, most people say it's 22 caliber. The jacket's much bigger. It's got much more powder. They're ruling that out because if they say 22 caliber, people would say, well, that the 223 is a 22 caliber. So, but the jacket on a 22 long rifle is much smaller. So what they're saying is basically they're calling out 223 without calling out 223. As far as
it's yeah. Well, it's 223 and anything bigger. Like when they say, and what's weird is they're not saying the projectile weight is 25%. They're saying that, and whose jacket has a weight of more than 25%. So
right, because
like,
the jacket is much bigger than 22 LR. That's where they're a percentage.
Yeah. Oh, it's weird.
Yeah, like when you started mentioning this, it started reminding me of like countries that don't allow their citizens to have certain calibers. Like this is a military caliber, 45, 9mm, and 5.56, 7.62. These are military calibers. The only ones that the military can use are law enforcement, and the citizens, they only have whatever down and less, like 38 Super and stuff like that. All the 22s and stuff like that. It just kind of reminds me of that.
You just said 38 Super in a public chat. We need to be on watch for 38 Super parties.
He's like, I'm watching. You look over your shoulder.
My obsolete caliber's senses tingling.
Yeah. So you won't be allowed to have any of that fun stuff. Any of that,
Jacket has a
hollow point, blah blah blah, all that stuff. That's weird. I don't know.
I'm just trying to think of what all would have that thick of a jacket, because even like Full Metal Jacket 5.56, that's still comparatively thin jacket stuff.
Dude, you guys are forgetting a very important rule. These people can't even write an SBR law right. It doesn't mean they won't legislate their way through it until they get it to where they want it to be, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's the whole. They can pass a law. It's up to somebody else to try and like actually enforce it or allocate the funds to it.
There you go. Right.
But this is, if shit like this gets through, it's one of those things where, well, it's on the books, but the only way you're going to really get rid of it is by poking holes in it in the courts.
Well, and they'll just re-release it. So we give them the methodology in which to ban our own stuff. It used to drive me nuts when I heard people correcting anti-gunners when they said stuff like clips. I was like, yes, ban clips. I can run ban all clips, go nuts, ban all the clips, right? And then you've got this senator who's like, no, that's a magazine. Really, motherfucker?
Really? You finally label it right?
Mm-hmm. So I guess now we're gonna have somebody has to go out there and cut some jackets off of a whole bunch of different projectiles and weigh them, right, and do the percentages to see what's legal and what's not. It just blows my mind that it has nothing to do with the caliber, or not so it's caliber. It doesn't have anything to do with velocity. It doesn't have anything to do with energy. It doesn't have anything to do with the casing. It has to do with the projectile itself, not how it's moving or what it's doing or anything like that. That's funny to me. It's goofy.
They've pulled it from the language of jacketed projectile. And this is important because a jacketed projectile refers to a small arms projectile consisting of a soft core encased in an outer shell of hard metal. So, if the outer shell is what they're considering to be the jacket, that would mean bullet or powder, primer, and anything else that is not the bullet on that cartridge case.
It's irrelevant. Yeah.
So only the bullet itself would be not included in the weight of that. And so if you look, any full-size cartridge would be excluded, would be a military projectile. 5.56 would be a military projectile. Most 12 gauges would be a military projectile. Well, no, 12 gauge probably would not be, unless they got it with the diameter law. But if you look, your average 30-06, 5.56, 7.62 by 39, the jacket and all of the things contained within that jacket, to include the primer pocket, are going to weigh greater than 25% of the total weight of the projectile.
Exactly.
Correct.
So I was just thinking too. I was like, wow, what about solid copper projectiles? That's not jacketed. That's a solid copper. But in the first one, it says ammunition. Yeah, ammunition constructed entirely from or so.
Entirely from or a combination of.
So what if you had solid copper 30-06? You wouldn't be allowed to have that either.
Nope.
Solid copper 243, 270. None of that shit would be.
Nope.
None of that shit would be legal. Solid copper handgun ammo. None of that would be legal.
Well, but again, they're taking it from the language a jacketed projectile. So
yeah,
as the jacket of that projectile contains all of the weight, then inherently anything that's not a 22 or a 3mm Cobra is effectively banned.
No,
Department of State.
It's just going from monolithic and what we, for the time being, let's just consider them thick or heavy jacketed projectiles. Because it says constructed entirely from or a combination of tungsten, steel, iron, brass, bronze, beryllium, copper, and actually right there you might be able to get away with saying this is not beryllium copper, this is elemental copper, or depleted uranium. Nowhere in there does it say lead. Until you get down into the two of a full jacketed projectile, and once again there would be legal wiggle room in there as well. What is full jacketed? Because most full metal jackets, if you I reload, you take a look at the base of the bullet.
Jacket.
Yeah, it's not. There's exposed lead. Is that a full metal jacket? Which, of course, I'm sure they would just use common parlance there. But.
Right. Yeah, because Full Metal Jacket versus a lot of if a lot of people don't know, like I think it's Spear Lawman. If you buy that, it'll say TMJ on it. It's Total Metal Jacket. Some of them are, and some of them aren't. It's just some of them don't even label it correctly. Like Full Metal Jacket doesn't. It can have exposed lead at the base, and Total Metal Jacket is totally 100% encapsulated. So there is a difference. So
and then you have things like, I'm actually looking at some Spear Gold Dot 300 Blackout. The base of it, completely enclosed. But the very tip of it, there is a, I'd say probably about a 1 millimeter and a half opening of just lead.
No.
Yes, George. Look, you left your bag of Doritos unattended in the green room. I ate them. They were fair game. I'm sorry, George.
Yeah, Clover's talking about the tungsten core stuff. Yeah. Well, there's the Chinese armor piercing stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
Well, there's just Chinese ammo import ban, period.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But before that was the other stuff. All right. So, that's a fucking mess. It's stupid. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it.
It's wet spaghetti with a bit of super glue or 77 spray sprayed on it, and they're going to throw it at the wall and hope it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
So what the heck is an undersheriff?
I don't know. We're going to read about it here. Undersheriff indicted? That's always... You know what? The English language is so goofy. How the hell is that the word indicted?
Well, an undersheriff is the assistant to the sheriff. He's basically the follow-up to the sheriff. He's the second in command.
So, in other words, it's just a fancy word for something we already had a word for.
Correct. He's a lieutenant instead of being a captain.
And my son's learning how to read. We do like sentences every day or whatnot. And, you will do words like the word read, R-E-A-D. Is that read or is it read? Well, it's the same damn word. Why do you say it differently? Why the hell is that the word indicted? That's not indicted. That's indicted, I'm mad at English.
Midnight
Undersheriff.
Dick.
Yeah. Undersheriff indicted in California concealed carry bribery scandal. A top official in the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office was indicted on Friday, becoming the 5th person to date to face criminal charges for allegedly participating in a pay-to-play scheme in which a number of individuals received their licenses to carry after first making sizable donations. Oops. To a committee set up to re-elect Sheriff Lori Smith. Under Sheriff Rick Sung is Smith's second in command in Santa Clara, and he now joins Sheriff's Captain James Jensen as the first two members of the department to face indictments in the probe. Jensen was first indicted several months ago, but a new charge was added along with Sung's charges to by a grand jury. Impaneled. Wow, that's a new word for me. Impaneled to investigate the bribery accusations. The specific charges are not yet known, but Santa Clara County DA Jeff Rosen is promising to release more details at a press conference on Monday morning. To date, 3 people have pleaded guilty to participating in an alleged scheme in which prosecutors accuse members of an executive protection firm of conspiring with 2 attorneys and a gun manufacturer to make campaign donations to an independent expenditure fund in exchange for permits to carry concealed weapons. AS Solution CEO Christian West entered a plea a few months ago. 2 of his managers, Martin Nielsen and Jack Stromgren, followed suit in October. The other defendants included attorneys Christopher Shum and Harpal Nahal, and the gun company owner Michael Nichols. Sheriff Lori Smith, who, like other top cops in California, has the authority to issue gun permits, has not been charged with a crime. When Smith testified, she invoked her Fifth Amendment rights. That's always shady. Again, self-incrimination, with his attorney suggesting at the time that the sheriff and her second in command shouldn't be considered suspects in the probe. He asserted his rights based upon my advice, based upon my understanding of the case. It was the wisest course for him to take. He also defended Sung against being implicated by association with the case. He was subpoenaed as a witness, not as a suspect, not as a target of the grand jury. Based upon that, I don't believe he's culpable of any wrongdoing. Let me find out. I can't remember off the top of my head what they did. Oh, this doesn't say what they did, this article.
They were taking payment, I think, for people to get their CCW permits.
Like, wasn't it a bunch of didn't they get a bunch of laptops or iPads or something?
iPads, I believe. And by the way, taking your Fifth Amendment, I want to protest a little. It's actually a tremendously good idea, and it's been downplayed a lot here recently because, of course, we see the shady character up there taking the fifth, right? But you can't say anything to a police officer or in general without legal support, an attorney or anything of that nature or a judge that's going to help you. And as a matter of fact, talking to police is a horrible idea. It's the equivalent of challenging an Olympic runner to a foot race. These people question people all day long. And so your fifth does not necessarily mean that you're guilty of something. It just means you don't want to say something stupid, which is never a good idea, especially when there's a microscope on you.
Talking about shooting steel core at the range. They don't like that shit. I wish they said what they did. I'm pretty sure
they did something bad, okay? Don't ask questions. They just did something bad.
Yeah, it was I wish they said it there. It doesn't say. Oh well. So yeah, there's that. Some horse shit. That's where you get that May issue. May issue becomes such an issue. May issue becomes an issue. Man, it just like begs to be corrupt, you know? Just absolutely begs to be a corrupted system. This May issue.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I think it was designed to keep people from getting carry permits anyway, so inherently
sure.
It is corruption.
Yeah, for sure.
Whew, I was holding my breath that whole time.
Oh, is Stinky
Look.
in there?
You're the one who gave me the nickel to have that bean burrito.
You're holding it far?
Sorry, man. I had broccoli earlier.
That cauliflower was on the edge.
Grand Rapids, Michigan, second gun turn-in upstaged by private buyers.
I've done that before.
I have said for years that I wish I was well off and I could Patriot, no, not yet. I have to check I'll have to try and stop tomorrow or the next day at the post office. I wish that I could go and stand across the street from this shit and buy every gun I could and just give them $25 more than they were offering. They'll give you $100. I'll give you $125. Come on over here right now, buddy.
What else you
Buy
got?
every one of them. Yep. Give them a good home.
That's like right next door to me. I didn't even hear of the buyback.
Mm-hmm. So what's funny though is these are the most. This is the most crusty, fucking antiquated box of goddamn revolver shit I think I've ever seen.
There's
There
a
is some-
Russian 44 there.
There is some
nice
cool old shit in here, man.
Yeah.
Like there's more than one. There's 3 brake tops that I can see right there. One here,
Yep.
one there that's already open, and one at the bottom that's got a brake top. And I'm not sure what this is with the white handle. It's a really old, small, like 2-inch barreled revolver.
Is that one of those 22 shorts?
Might be an
H&R
H&R.
that explode. Yeah.
Beats me.
Probably a starter pistol.
Could be.
This
Whatever.
thing here.
$5 gift cards for those.
Looks like a knockoff High Point. Or could
That's
no,
a
that's
high point that's missing the front of its slide. That's a broken high point.
Oh shit! You might be right. I was gonna say it does look like a High Point grip, but it looks like a rhino in the front.
Yeah. Now that's a high point with the upper half of the slide broken off or pulled all the way to the rear. It could just be pulled to the rear, but it may be damaged.
That's true. So anyway, to get a high $100 for a used High Point's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a new price.
I don't know what this is back here. It looks like an old Smith.
That's an old Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a 32 probably by the looks of the hammer.
Uplift Mofo Party Plan says, I think I see a Sigma. This down
this is
here,
not an evidence box.
I'm not 1,000% sure what this is, but this grip with the little pointy,
Is that
and
a
it's got
SAR?
I don't know, but it's got a look. I mean, it's got the mag release on the
a
on
heel
the grip.
mag release. Yeah,
Yeah.
that might be an old SAR. That might be a Turkish gun.
Beats the shit out. I mean, like I'm
Looks
looking
like a
through
little
this.
25 underneath it.
Yep, I
Yeah.
was going to say here's either a 22 or a 25. That's a little Ring of Fire gun there.
That might be a Colt.
And then just above that, there's a silver revolver.
It looks like a Rome or something. Not a
Mhm.
Rome, but yeah, maybe a Rome. Remember, is Rome what I'm thinking of? Rome, maybe.
R-H-O-M. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but and then there's
Look at
something
that.
here that you got the butt sticking out. Like I don't think there's a gun in here other than this possible High Point that's less than 50 years old. Like,
Yeah. Granddaddy left a gun that he said never shoot. Let's take it out. Now, if that's one of the old Russian 44 Magnums or Russian 44s up there in the upper left-hand corner, that's actually a nice firearm. But the rest,
oh hell yeah, man! I mean, I'd love to. I mean, if you showed up at my house and said, "Will you give me $500 for this box of guns?" I'd say, "Hell yeah, I would."
yeah, let's do that.
Fuck yes. I mean, I would
I mean,
in a
let me look
heartbeat. I
first,
would do
but
it.
yeah.
I wouldn't even want to look first. I'd be like, for $500, I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be able to
Joke's
make
on
your
you,
money
and
back.
you take all these nice looking guns off the top, and you find out, wait a minute, this is just a pile of crushed beer cans underneath here, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, but some of those look like they're pretty heavy. I mean, there's a few 32s in there, and there's some pretty heavy caliber stuff in there too. There's some nicer guns.
Underneath what we think is a high point is a barrel with a full underlug in
That's
stainless.
another brake top. Look where the point
of
the trigger is.
You
can see the.
It is.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably one of those Irving Johnson 32s or that.
Yeah, that's what that one on the top is.
Dude, this thing. I mean, this box of guns blows my mind. That would be a blast to get. I mean, can you imagine somebody showing up and being like, "Hey, you want to buy these for $500?" It'd be like a kid in a candy store, man. Let's look these up.
Sure,
let's look these up.
There's so much license matches. And why do these have police evidence locker tags on them?
Yeah, there's so much history in that box. It's a shame that they're all going to get melted down, but it's a real shame.
Well, they're not getting much for zinc nowadays.
Yeah. So the second phase,
some of these they're no questions asked. A lot of those could have been used in a crime at some point too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they don't ask questions because they're like, oh, if we ask them where they got it or what happened, they won't turn them in. He's saying zoom in.
Aren't all guns used in crimes?
You can probably right click view image.
They did say, what is it, for $100 for revolvers, shotguns, and rifles. Assault rifles.
$200 for a semi-auto handgun, dude. That's more than a brand new High Point's going right now. That dude made out like a bandit.
That's a $50 profit.
I'd be buying High Points like crazy.
Just driving them straight down. Here, this one's still in the box. Give me $225.
Well, and a lot of them don't have the mags in them, so they probably went over and sold the mags for $25 when they got
them
home.
on eBay. Yeah,
I don't know. That's a former parking lot of the Cultural Revolution parking lot.
Oh God!
Revolution Culture Movement. Okay.
Where do you see that?
Right down second orange. Former parking lot of the Revolution Culture Movement.
Ave.
There you go.
Southeast Grand Rapids.
I don't know if I can
zoom.
I don't think I can.
You right click.
Nah, it does, but it doesn't give me a zoom in option.
Does it give you a view image, another tab, or open image?
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. There we go. Let's see what it says here. Okay, let me
configure the who's it my thingy.
Yep. That's what I'm gonna do.
That pistol in the upper right hand corner is actually a 44 Russian Smith & Wesson. That is a expensive pistol.
It just lets me come up a little bit bigger. Not much.
Try the Control and Plus button.
$6,500 for one in mint condition.
Well, yeah, that's
no shit. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go.
Sandpaper.
Last time I was at the gun shop, one of the guys told me, "Hey, we got in a new batch of evidence guns, and they all kind of look like
Control
those.
Zero."
Yeah. I like evidence guns. It's fun to have something to explode.
Valuable evidence.
Valuable evidence.
Valuable evidence. I like to every so often lose my mind and just top a bullet off, throw a shell on it or a round in top of it and see if it'll explode an evidence gun.
Let me try that again.
Detonate a couple of high points.
I'd like to zoom in on some of those little nooks and crannies in there, see if we can see anything else. It's pretty
nooks and crannies.
This is like crack, dude. This is fun.
That's what I'm saying. This is
like
really
going to Taco Bell at 4 a.m. and ordering everything off the dollar menu.
You know what? Yeah. Heck yeah.
I think it's going to make you choose between a nook and a cranny. It won't let you do both.
Let's see.
The thing is, though, what is there a maximum of 15, 20 guns there for their whole buyback
Oh,
program?
yeah. Mission
You know?
accomplished.
And the report won't say that they're all pieces of shit.
Right.
We just took 20 assault weapons off the street.
Oh, if you want a real laugh, go to the New York City website whenever they prosecute somebody for a gun crime and see some of the crap they have up there and read the comments section where it's like the last of the dastardly Smith gang has been run in because it's a black powder percussion cap pistol with no percussion caps installed.
Hatfield and McCoy.
Yeah, it's
that's as
amusing.
There we go. That's as
good as it gets.
Yeah, I think that's as good as it's going to get. I don't know if it's going to help us out any.
Okay, copy. Do you know how to use the snipping tool?
To get a vasectomy? No.
No,
I do.
No. So you don't get in trouble for
snipping tool.
No.
So you can actually snip that image and throw it in a paint program, and we could zoom down to the bottom pixel.
Yeah.
That's a little above my pay grade on a live show.
10-4.
Yeah.
Learning in public, not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm just going to look like a fucking asshole even more than I already do.
Right.
I mean, it's going to look like Yankee that one time he tried to use a Windows computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Midnight is using the duck so he doesn't have to deal with issues. Now we're telling him to start issues.
Yeah. Here, this will surely fuck him up. Ask him to do this.
Yeah, you see, what you want to do is hold down Control, F4, Alt, and Delete all at once.
Yeah. Right.
And then when it pops back up, you want to say, yes, reset to factory.
Oh, God.
Find this one above the high, on top of the high point, really. Is that the one you're talking about? Looks like a Russian gun.
Yeah, that looks like a Smith and Wesson in 44 Russian. I've got one around here somewhere, but it's not blued. It's
listen. There's not a whole lot of things that piss me off more than somebody having too many guns and not knowing where they are or how many they have or what they actually have. So let's knock that shit right off.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. It is frightening how many I own. You're gonna know when they get me, by the way, because it's gonna be like
all over the news.
Right. When we called the last guy a hoarder, forget it.
Right.
This guy's nuts.
Look, you're getting all bent out of shape over that Russian. Well, you can go over to Taylor's & Co. and pick up a nice Pieta or Pedersoli reproduction for about the same price.
Yep.
Yeah, it just
that has like a 95% chance of less likely to blow up in your face.
To blow up in your face, yeah. Man, I have guns that I don't shoot.
That would be a real kick in the gut if you would get confirmation that was like a $1,500 pistol or something, and they're just gonna wreck. They're gonna destroy it. That shit just, that bothers me.
That breaks my heart, man.
It really does.
Right, yeah.
And you know what? At one point, somebody in history
what about
had that gun.
That video of them.
Go ahead.
Oh, my page is loading.
Come on, you googly-eyed nude bastard! Finish the use.
I was just gonna say, they just showed that video clip the other day of the gun confiscation where they had the 2-foot chop saw. Cutting all the long guns right down through the receiver.
Yeah. Well, that and there's that story that's like infamous about the old lady that dropped off the Sturmgewehr. It was like a $30,000 rifle or something, $30,000 gun, and the only reason it didn't get chopped up was like the sheriff's deputy looked at it and he said, "What the hell is that thing? Where'd that come from?" And he knew what it was. He knew what it was.
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa, hold on a second. That's like a piece of history. Like, we got to do something about this. And they gave it back to her and let her sell it or something, or she sold it to a museum or something. But for all we know, there could be a $5,000 pistol in that box, and it just drives me nuts, man.
Yeah, I make friends with a lot of really old people. You never know who's got themselves. Yeah, I brought this M60 back. Not M60, but
Yeah.
I
know.
We have confirmation here that Nighthawk Medic also moonlights as a gold digger.
Yeah.
That's why I send links out to people that have lots of cool guns.
Look, man, I'm telling you, you crush a Vicodin up, put it in their pudding, they're asleep. They don't know that you didn't make love.
What kind of pudding do you like, Nighthawk? What kind of pudding do you like?
Right.
I make pudding. I can make any kind of pudding you like, buddy.
Let's turn on some Bill Cosby. Watch that a little bit while you're eating your pudding.
Good Lord. I'm sad about Bill still. Still sad about Bill. Well.
Yeah. I mean,
Cosby, not Clinton. He brought that on himself.
I know, but man, come
Pancake
on.
pudding.
But Bill Cosby was the man. I watched Bill Cosby all the time. It made me really super sad to hear he was a piece of junk.
Well, it was very, it make you kind of shake your head. And it was another one of those situations where people, it came out as Hannibal Buress is the one that kind of was responsible for it coming out as recent. He cracked a joke about it. And then now we're in the age of information and people started Googling shit and they're like, wow, there really was women that said that he raped them. And next thing you know, boom, 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 one after another. And it just snowballed. Holy shit, And he was like, I was just a joke. Everybody else joked about it for years too, and nothing ever happened,
Yeah. Nobody makes the same joke about Bill Clinton because they don't want to end up disappearing.
Yeah. Well, there was a thing on Twitter. I saw it on Instagram. It was somebody, but it was on Twitter, and she said about Hillary'd made some tweet about how, it'll be, some about when Biden gets in the White House, it'll be, the honor of the Oval Office or the honor of the presidency or whatever will be returned or whatever. And somebody, the comment read underneath it, the guy screen shared, says, your husband got a blowjob from an intern in the Oval Office. Like the sanctity of the presidency. Like, okay, man. All right, let's
back off that just a little.
You step out of your glass house before you start throwing rocks around.
Yeah, right. Crazy. Wait, who's at the door? No, okay. Yeah.
Hello, FedEx.
This week has been the week of the FedEx drivers being terrified because every package I've had delivered here said explosive on it.
Yeah, I heard you say that in somebody else's chat. That was funny. All right, let's see what's going on. Let's see what I saved on Instagram this week. This seems to be people seem to like this.
Why do you have a night photo picture of Moo's quote unquote man cave?
Wow. Moo probably felt bad about telling everybody, but he was doing a little roofing work, and bam, straight through the roof.
Holy crap!
So many questions.
Apparently cows are good at walking up ramps, but not quite down them.
That son of a bitch came down at terminal velocity for sure.
I went skydiving.
That cow was moving. Here's one that I thought was pretty nice. It said FFL should be able to sell guns by mail without seeing the customer. If it's so safe and secure to vote by mail without seeing the voter.
I agree.
Well, there you go.
I'm just saying,
Carol Todd reposted that one. Yeah. I thought this was really interesting, and I feel like I've heard of this before, but it's really cool, and I would like to see these.
Yeah, there's a few of them around the world.
cool
I've
until
heard
you
of it.
have to replace that $600 tire.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, you want to promote people driving the speed limit, and you want to like keep people awake when they're driving and stuff like that. I thought, what a neat idea. That's a pretty cool idea. I mean, you're going to have to go the right speed for it to sound right. So if you would do some very recognizable songs and stuff, I thought that was kind of a neat idea. So I wanted to show that because I thought, maybe other people haven't seen that.
Are you
How
kidding
bad
me?
if I freak you out if it started playing Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, though?
There's gonna-
Where am I going?
They're gonna have WAP out there in Cali. They'll have WAP doing it.
And also,
Wild ass possum.
Yeah, wild as possum. Right.
wait a minute, what the hell does Yankees Posse have to do about this?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
Speaking of Yankees posse, here's Yankee at outside of the gun store. You sons of bitches.
Oh, crap.
Get out of my way! Stop trying to help me.
I like the music.
See, this is why Yankee had to switch to drinking Diet Dew rather than regular Mountain Dew. Caffeine is just too much.
See,
That is-
The caffeine angers up his blood.
That is what we call a geriatric clusterfuck.
Yeah, that right there, that video is why I carry pepper spray instead of fist fighting it.
There you go, Grandpa. Have a little of this. All right.
It's my week for the teeth. God damn it.
Yeah.
This is pretty good.
We tried to reach out to the man who died in this pursuit.
Oh, yeah.
They were unavailable for comment. Micah, back to you. We tried to reach out to the man who died in this pursuit. They were unavailable for comment.
No shit.
I think
No
her career
shit.
died before he did.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You tried to
The
reach out
worst-
to the man who died.
The
He was
worst
not
part
available.
is she didn't write that. Somebody wrote that for her.
The
Yeah.
teleprompter
Yeah.
that hated her.
Yeah. Yeah. Go fuck yourself, San Diego. I like this one. This is pretty good.
How you doing, man? You know why I pulled you over?
Because I let you.
Okay. You got a license on you?
Fishing or hunting.
Where are you driving, sir?
Don't have one.
Fishing or hunting?
That's that guy's from around here. He must be.
Eat whatever you want, and if anyone tries to lecture you about your weight, eat them too.
Fat people are harder to kidnap.
Hell yeah, they are, and they're expensive. And they're expensive to keep alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, you don't usually keep them alive unless you can't use them right away.
Now, one of the things that I always joke about, when we talk about this at work, I always joke about it because it's ethnic foods. I guess you could call them ethnic foods. How somebody could have just a regular old American accent, like, or no accent or whatever you want to call it, and then when they hit like some ethnic food, it comes out all crazy. And like, if it's Spanish or Italian or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But you could, just like we're talking, no accent or whatever, and then all of a sudden you hit like burritos and it's like, oh, burritos. And it's like, whoa, where did that come from,
What the heck?
This word is pronounced spaghetti and not spaghetti. This is not cappuccino, but it's cappuccino. This is not mozzarella, but it's mozzarella. Trust me, I'm Neapolitan.
And this is pronounced, I don't give a fuck. Not, I don't give a fuck.
This word is pronounced spaghetti.
I was like, man,
I don't give a fuck.
That dude's my spirit animal. I love that. I thought, dude, I laughed so hard with that one. I was like, yeah, man, don't give a fuck. Oh, this one came on Maj. Maj put this on Instagram. It said, yeah, I can do gun tats. I'm a gun owner myself. The gun looks good, but it's actually
Oh, my
like,
Lord.
it's still in the casing.
It's a cruise missile.
Yeah,
No.
it
You
launched
see,
itself.
The
the
jet fire.
Kickstarter was successful, so Gyro Rocket Jet is
Yeah, the
back in
gyro.
business.
Gyrojet.
One of those smart balls from Runaway with Tom Selleck in the 80s.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Wow, we just dated ourselves.
This is we business, you old fogies.
Gene Simmons was in that.
That's
He
right.
was in that.
Hey, you talked about the ethnic food. Did you see that thing that was going around on Facebook where I don't think it's in the States, but McDonald's has put out a burger and calling it the jerk chicken sandwich or something, and people are claiming cultural appropriation and demanding they rename
Jesus Christ. Tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Let me tell you what, I will not eat in a restaurant if I can help it that does not have the people from that culture cooking in the kitchen. And it's got nothing to do because I worry about appropriation. It's because I don't want Mexican food cooked by somebody who was in, West Philadelphia last week. Right. I want Mexican food cooked by the people that go home and cook Mexican food.
So you want Italian food cooked by Mexicans because that's how it normally rolls.
Yeah, we have an Italian family in my town, dude, and it is crazy how good the Italian is. And people are like, "Let's go to Olive Garden." No, we're going over here to this place, this little hole in the wall crap joint, and have the best Italian food you've ever had in your life.
We do, and I'm sure we can. We can proclaim the palmist, with the palmist who wrote these
Oh
words.
my gosh!
The Lord is my strength and my shield.
The fuck are you talking about, Joe?
I've said it in every chat so far.
We can
Joe and Trump are way too freaking old. We need to resurrect Ross Perot as a zombie and have him run in 2024.
Yeah.
These following words. The Lord is my strength and my shield.
He's being trying to be so sincere and so
and pious.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, it's crazy. This was talk about some weird shit for Thanksgiving.
Right, we're up with the kids, and there's nothing better than having a Mayflower to do that. So what I have done here is taken a nice big banana squash. We've cut the center out of the banana squash here. I have 3 cells on there, and our Mayflower is set to sail.
Ready
you can
to sail.
see too, I have a few windows here.
But what about the pilgrims?
Well, we have some pilgrims over here. I'm using butternut squash. Put his hat, put the hair on there, and there's the pilgrim.
That is so cute.
And the last of all, the Indian, and I did some little beads.
So I'm telling you what, if you go to Grandma's house and this shit's in the middle of her Thanksgiving table, you send that shit to Shady Acres. You send that. It's time to go, Grandma. Get in the car. You're going to Shady Maples, man.
Yeah, the best part, really the amazing part, is her co-host keeping a straight face while that's going.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Look, these are 2 clearly later middle-aged women trying to look like they're middle-aged women who have absolutely nothing to do or any higher ambitions in life. It's just, this is what we do. There is nothing else.
Yeah. Masturbation boosts your immune system and raises your white blood cell count, helping you to fight off infection and illness. This guy says, "I will single-handedly defeat the Oh man,
that is tremendous.
That is so funny. Yeah.
No wonder I got corona.
Yeah. Right. It's
Do we have a wild
his license plate is the mask. And somebody stomped me.
That's pretty.
I thought, wow, that's pretty witty. That's pretty good right there. And this week in Crazy Bitches, a 29-year-old Florida Keys woman was arrested after she sent threatening text messages to another woman and posted her address on a dating website along with an open invitation for men seeking sex. Monroe County Sheriff's deputy said Vanessa Huckabee was arrested Saturday on charges of cyber stalking and sending harassing phone calls and texts. By that mugshot, can you not tell she's 100% and totally batshit crazy?
Yeah, if you're smiling in your mugshot, something's wrong.
Now, is that an actual mugshot, or is that just a file photo? That we heard your sister-in-law got you got a photo we can have. Oh, thanks, dude.
There's a stock photo of you looking nuttier than squirrel turds. There's a problem.
Yep, bananas, squirrel shit bananas.
Yep.
Pauly Shore has totally turned into
Some what? Swat with the waves. No, potty shot with the waves.
Richard Simmons. He's totally turned into Richard Simmons.
Left. Get those knees up. Higher.
What the hell happened to Pauly Shore, man?
Did you watch any of his movies? I mean,
a weasel.
No, he was not funny.
Never.
No.
Let's start some drama and then jet for the holidays. SB Tactical Social Media.
Yep.
I'm still trying to process through all that nonsense. I don't know who to believe on that one. This made a lot of sense, and I like this a lot. This is from Pennsylvania Gun Rights on Instagram. They're a pretty cool channel. Whatever. The NRA Roundup program gives you the opportunity to round up total number of purchases, donate to the NRA. Yeah, which, we know on Midway. He says, that's going to be a no for me, dog. 18 million. Imagine if they let you choose literally any organization that's something that I've heard before. That, man, what if they put a couple of different options there? How awesome would that be?
I've stopped contributing to larger organizations almost entirely, and I give to smaller organizations that do, advocate and local advocacy and things of that nature. I don't think this is going to be a national fight for much longer. I think we're going to be trying to decide what states.
Well, it's state by state for sure.
Ground. Yeah.
That lower right picture. Is Nighthawk got enough beer to explain that?
Now, I have no beer tonight because
looks an awful lot like an open-faced hot dog sandwich to me.
Oh,
God. That's what it looks like.
Actually, that is a sandwich. By definition, that is a
sliced bread.
Yeah, it's sliced bread, so that is a sandwich.
Oh, you say it has to be sliced bread, do you?
Well, that's the definition of, according to the dictionary, the definition of a sandwich is a cheese meat, a vegetable between two pieces of sliced bread. That is what was it? The Oxford Dictionary defined it as. And so by definition.
Oh, really? Merriam-Webster says 2 or more slices of bread or a split roll having a filling in between.
Well, but that's not what they used as the definition the other night. So we went with that argument. And this is the problem again, is that there's 40 different definitions for what a sandwich is. And so there's also 40 different definitions for everything else. So if the definition we used the other night was sliced bread, right, then that was inherently a sandwich.
Wrong.
In my heart, I believe it's a sandwich, but the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council says it is not.
Which means the people who define this, they're Rachel.
Look, it's the NRA tactic all over again. They put out inflammatory things, so you keep sending them money so they can keep lobbying to say, hey, we want you to keep doing stuff so we can make money off sausages.
I don't know. I still eat hot dogs whether they're a sandwich or not. I like them.
Yeah, hot dogs are good. Nothing wrong with hot dog.
Yep.
Just don't ask too many questions.
If I went up to a food truck and I ordered a hot dog and they gave me a sandwich, I'd punch them in the dick.
Moo, you cannot reach that high.
Yeah, I can. I climb on that roof.
I like this little guy.
Oh, so cute.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Little puppy belly.
He's like, hey, baby. And I know, we know a little bit about each other. We don't, always know each other, really personally. We haven't known each other for years, but I had no idea Two Live Moo was an artist, a sculpturist, a sculptor. So an artist in Paris has made a sculpture that's supposed to be a modern rendition of a Christmas tree.
That's my best butt plug ever.
You know what? What we're really looking at is the Jolly Green Giant is terrible at where he keeps his sex toys. I think
exactly. Yeah,
that's where all my NRA Roundup money went.
Right. You're gonna need this when we're done with you.
You know what's funny is
even if it doesn't look like a butt plug, it looks like one of those stupid little Duplo trees. Like, oh yeah, this is something we need to give to a 3-year-old and say this is a tree.
Yeah.
This 11th person shows up for Thanksgiving.
I ordered a bunch of stuff from Midway USA this weekend, and my total came out. It said round up 1 penny to the NRA, and I said no.
No. I need that penny so I have something to throw to the plebs.
Henderson, North Carolina. This Thanksgiving, if you see 20 cars at your neighbor's house and you're thinking about reporting them, go to the fridge and drink a big glass of milk. Why? Milk is good for your teeth. You know what else is good for your teeth? Minding your own damn business.
That is from the town of Hendersonville. I freaking love it.
Nice.
I wish they'd have thrown an F-bomb in there because,
right,
like, you know what else is good for your teeth? Minding your own fucking business. Would have been amazing.
Oh, that's great.
That would have been amazing. And we're down in the net last week's stuff.
Seven's out there proclaiming that he can't have anything other than hot beef in his mouth, otherwise it just doesn't taste or feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, he eats it like he doesn't even taste it. He eats it like a snake. So I don't know why the fuck he's even talking about what it tastes like.
Yes, but can he suck it through a water hose?
He's so worried about how much it stretches out his throat when it's going down. He doesn't even taste it.
I like the teeth one.
Uh-oh.
Oh, holy crap.
I'm not coming in like a wrecking ball again, am I?
No.
No.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's a lithium-ion battery, right? Eventually, it's going to do that shit.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I wish they'd have, I don't know why they cut it off right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it was
Probably
security
took out the camera.
Who knows?
Took out the whole building.
It went nuclear.
That was Timothy McVeigh's car.
Oh, my Lord.
Too soon.
Too soon?
Chat's banned.
Too soon.
It's been 20 years.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Remember his accomplice, Nickel?
Terry Nichols.
Back?
Yep, he was tackled in my mother's parking lot by the
No shit.
by the FBI. Yep.
Wait,
Yeah.
no.
What?
How fat is your mother that she needs an entire parking lot to herself?
Well, that's pretty fucked up.
That is. And that is what people tune in for.
Yeah, when the
mama
chats
is
go
so
sideways,
fat.
it's good. Oh, man.
Takes me a full tank of gas to get her out.
Oof. Need a bigger
Now-
tank.
Yeah, because I grew up over there, making fertilizer bombs and shit.
Oh, yeah.
So, somebody, I forget who the hell it was, fairly recently, had said to me, like, wow, I heard somebody ask somebody, about a hot dog being a sandwich. Like, is this like a thing? Like, how long have you guys been doing this? Do you think this is spread all over the country or whatnot? And, it's not playing. Hold on. There we go.
Ain't got the audio.
No idea.
Oh, you don't have the audio? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me. I must have missed the click.
All right, who's singing? Yeah, there you go.
What I got, you gotta give it to your mama.
What's the best cereal?
Cookie Crisp.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
They're down that hallway that you don't want to go down there. Would you go to Mars if it meant leaving behind your car collection?
If there was something cooler there that they can show me in advance.
That's waiting for you up there, like a Mars rover or something like that. Okay. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Son of a bitch.
That's not a sandwich.
What is it?
It's a hot dog.
There you go. That's my man right there.
Outstanding.
But
look, you see, this is what happens when you get shot 7 times in the face.
Yeah, I mean, he always seems punch drunk. I'm not really sure what's going on with 50 Cent. He always seems like he's like grasping at everything he says. But yeah, I saw that clip.
Yeah, dude got shot in the face. That's what happened.
Yeah. I saw that clip and I was like, holy shit, that's like a national television show and they're asking
Check
about
us
hot
out,
dogs.
big trendsetters.
Yeah, how about it? Like, I don't know, man. Like, when people ask me, they're like, do you think you guys joking about this has like actually made it a thing? And I was like, nah, no way. It's just, but
It helped
you see
nudge
shit like
it
that
along
and you're like,
slightly farther.
yeah, you see stuff like that and you're like, that's so weird. It's so fucking weird. Yeah, it is really weird.
It's It's an indication of the fall of society.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord. It was the gun tubers, it turns out.
Yeah, exactly. We ruin everything.
Uh-oh, Orange Boy's in the chat.
Yeah, I seen that. Meg's out there too.
Oh, somebody was looking for a Deadeye Mag earlier today. They thought he was dead.
Well, no, you just had to open your eyes and see that it's Meg.
No, people were looking for him in Matt's chat tonight.
Well, I'm not really
they
sure
were,
why you're
weren't they?
calling Meg a him, but yeah.
It.
Oh, he's a dude.
It's a dude.
Oh, I thought. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, there you go. Now everybody.
Answer
now
in the
everybody knows.
chat. Answer in the chat, Meg.
Yeah, somebody
That's
said he
cool.
looked like Meg from Family Guy.
Ah, okay. Oh, well, there's a story behind it. That makes sense. Huh?
That's
the
not at all
unconventional first date Rachel Maddow had with her partner. So this
person,
bobblehead sumbitch, apparently, when she met her future partner, when they went out on their first date, they went to a gun range. Can you believe that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I've had a
I'm
first
okay
date
with it too, but
I think the third date my wife and I went out was to the gun range.
yeah.
If
Well,
you
this
didn't
chick
cap
is
your ass.
this chick
Nah.
is super totally 100% anti-gun. So for
None
rules
of
for
them
thee,
really
not
are.
for me.
Yeah, they like their guns just fine. As long as they can be the only ones who have them. Every time I hear one of these people talking, I'm like, I wonder if they'll be in charge of a county or a city, or what will their alliance with the anti-gunners bring them?
Monies, wokeness, a sense of moral self-satisfaction and superiority over the plebs.
It's like that sense you get when you fart after having Mexican food. Yeah, I get it.
No, not really.
See, I think by definition, a taco is a sandwich, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's an unleavened bread. Yep.
Yep.
Ooh.
The lady part. That's the best kind.
Ooh. Just as long as it's not a soggy taco.
Oh, boo.
I've been watching too much Joey Diaz.
I've been spending too much time on Matt's Discord.
He did say he was over there.
If it's not a soggy taco, she's not into you.
That's true. It's true.
It's moist.
Yeah, moist.
It's a
There's
sat.
difference.
It's a soggy ass taco. Sat.
Swap.
Yeah, how is Baby It's Cold Outside offensive, but WAP is the #1 song?
It's about rape. Baby, It's Cold Outside is about rape. It's all rapey.
It's not even close to rapey. Our Christmas tree, you can connect your Wi-Fi device, Blu-ray device to the Christmas tree, and then it'll play music over the Christmas tree speakers, and the lights will do tricks in tune with the music that you're playing. And so just to be funny, I threw some death metal on. Had it in there playing while the tree was spazzing out. And the cats and the dogs all scattered. My wife was like, what the hell's wrong with you? And then I threw WAP on and the Christmas tree. She was like, that's enough.
Look, lady, you're the one who decided we need to spend $120 on this weird ass tree. I'm just making the best of it.
You just tell her. It stands for wild ass pine, like a pine tree, like a Christmas tree.
I think that Christmas tree was like $350. It's insane.
Well, yeah, P.T. Barnum said, "The sucker's born every minute."
Mm-hmm.
Not as bad as me paying $40 for a tree to sit in our house for a month. Then what do I do?
Yeah, that was me for years, dude. I used to buy those, and then one day I was like, you know what? We're just gonna have an artificial tree.
I think we had like a real tree maybe like once.
I tried and failed.
I got the $25 Walmart special.
Outstanding, sir.
I got the
Hey,
$10
man,
Walmart
I
special.
think
You buy
put
your
as
shit
many
afterwards.
lights on and redneck decorations as I got, you can't even see the tree anyway.
It's all covered in white trash. You can't even see it.
When I was married, my wife and I had such arguments about it. We have two trees, one upstairs, one downstairs. Because every year she'd have one, she would pick a theme. The whole damn tree was one color.
Right.
And like me, I like to have colored lights and all the collection of ornaments over the years and everything. And she called it the redneck Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
See, when I was growing up, my parents had every crap ornament that we made them and everything else dangling from that tree. And I remember after college, I went home for one Christmas, and they had this beautifully, elegantly decorated tree. And they were
With
like,
none of your shit on it.
"You're right." We were so glad when you guys moved out, and we didn't have that tacky ass tree.
I came home from work one day and she decorated her tree, and the whole damn thing was copper colored. I'm like, who the show me one Christmas stereotype that's copper.
We have 6 sets of bulbs in uniform colors, and she'll do silver and gold together, but usually it's like a silver with a red or a gold with a green or something like that on the tree. And then it's got 32 different colors of lights that you can cycle through the different light settings, so she'll find the light setting that reflects on the bulbs the most. And it's really gorgeous. It's amazing.
Wow, Pink's really dating himself. He says, I have 2 silver trees that have the 5,000 watt spotlight with the 4-color turning wheel.
Outstanding.
Well,
Ozzy says my tree was free, but my neighbor is pissed. Yeah.
Well, pissed neighbor for 6 months out of the year versus, saving $20 on the tree.
That's why you do it at 4 a.m., Ozzy, so he doesn't know.
Yeah, and Ozzy, don't use the chainsaw. We gave you that buck saw for a reason.
Right. If you do it over the course of a week, he just thinks the tree died.
Margot and Todd had a Christmas tree come through their damn window.
Mm-hmm. Oh man!
I don't know, Margot.
Yeah. I mean, little is Ozzy telling us that Seven is actually his neighbor, and that tree actually turned out to be one of his weed plants.
Yeah, they see Seven. They see Seven wanted to say, "Hey, some asshole just cut my Christmas tree down." 10 seconds later, Ozzy's like, "My tree was free, but my neighbor's pissed." Oops.
Oh man,
I got 5 deer in my backyard right now.
Oh, do you
go get them?
Yeah.
Ask them if they want to go have drinks on the roof.
Just make sure
we went up to
with them. Don't know.
We went up to camp last week for my son's birthday. He wanted to go up to camp and have a fire and toast s'mores and do all that kind of stuff. So we just had a little bit of a little family go up there, his aunts and uncle and stuff like that. And we did burgers. I did burgers and dogs, and we did mac and cheese and just fun stuff. I made pizza, made all his favorite foods, And then we did s'mores outside. And on the way home, we saw a ton of deer out in the one field. Just a slew of them, man. It was good to see.
We get a lot in the back 40 of our property. One of these days, I'm going to fix bayonet and go out there.
Come back in 3 days later with a bayonet stuck in your left side going, well, I didn't think that deer were such accomplished hand-to-hand combatants, but
it was amazing.
You're gonna need that. You're gonna need that bayonet to cut the antler off after they shove their antler up your ass.
we were sitting out in the backyard one evening, and this doe walks out of the woods and just walks up to us, and I kid you not, 3 feet away, and is just sitting there looking at us. And I turned to my wife and I said, apparently this one's committing suicide.
Yeah.
Or it's distracting you so you don't realize the 30 or so lining up behind you.
Right, getting ready to attack.
Takes a cigarette out of its mouth and go, what are you guys doing back here?
You're right.
It's a scout.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a forward observer. I could have killed this one with a fart. It was that close. We took pictures of it. We actually took pictures of this thing. It was so close.
Chronic wasting disease.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Must pass the plague on to the humans.
Yeah, that's a shame, man.
Yeah, it is. That's the only time I'll hunt deer anymore anyway, is when there's something that's affecting the population. I'll hunt hog all day long, but I don't have any need for deer.
Ammo Depot, Cyber Monday.
Yep, I bought 1,500 rounds of 9mm from there.
And so when are you going in for the surgery to have your kidney removed?
It wasn't that bad. I think it was 48 cents a round or something like that. It wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't great either, but it was. That's great.
I was pretty proud of that one. I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. Yep.
That is a fabulous one.
I think he should be acquitted of all the charges.
Absolutely.
He holds over the McDonald's bag.
Look at this dick.
Oh my gosh, who designs this stuff? Who's like, this is a good idea?
I said, look at this dick that just standing outside of Lowe's. I heard standing on the balls of your feet, but not having balls 4 feet. Consolidated says, give him a break. He's hard. He's working hard. It's funny because the next picture is like, I took a couple pictures real quick. Like, you know, you do, like, you hold it down and it takes them. There's a woman like walking right in front of it. And I was like, I'm not going to use that one.
Is that a deep fried chicken or turkey wing?
Why would you eat a piece of corn like that?
Anti-gunner corn.
Yeah.
Who in the fuck eats a piece of corn like that?
Why, yes, that is turkey hot wings.
Ooh, that's
if you've never done this, do it. It's I take the wings and split them, and just roast them at like 300 degrees just till they're done, and then throw them in the cooler, throw them in the fridge. And when they're cold, drop them in some 350 degree oil. Friggin', they get crispy, crunchy, super nice
Peanut
and tender, and a little bit of Frank's hot sauce with a little butter in it.
Butter.
You know,
That's
I'd choke to death though, because there's only one way to eat that.
Well, you know, you could debone it first.
You could.
I made up.
Knowing you know how to get around debone.
I made those last night, and I sent Midnight a text picture of it. I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
Check this shit out.
And me and my daughter destroyed them. They were good.
Yeah, they're so good. 1 pound peanut butter Reese's peanut butter Santa. Mm-hmm.
You got your germs on it and put it back on the shelf, didn't you?
Probably.
You don't remember? Did you just pick it up and you didn't remember like the next 3 days?
More insulin.
Yeah. It was this damn Sasquatch.
Sam Squanch.
No, we did show this one. We showed this the other week. Yeah. I was showing this, and I was trying to show this picture. I must have deleted it off my phone. My son, we have this game on my phone that we'll play sometimes, and you pretend to be you're a cop, and you pull people over, and you can either give them a fine or throw them in jail or whatever. It's just really, really simple. It's, you know, you use a laser if they're speeding or whatever. And this is one of the people that we pulled over. I was like, holy shit, we pulled over Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
For bright beams that were too bright.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you're the one who's driving in the opposite lane, in which case, screw you.
Oh no!
You don't do you not follow me on? Here, I don't think I have audio.
I remembered it. That's why I said,
Beep,
"Oh no!"
beep, beep.
Dude, I was behind this son. I was late for fucking work because of these jokers, and all they did was get to the next exit and pull over. Like I have no reason. I have no idea why they were going so slow for so long.
Are those like just crash barriers or bumpers behind them, or is that some type of like?
They would normally be hauling something wide
So I've
load.
been behind this for a while. I have no fucking clue what's going on.
They're so if somebody hits them, it's a
it's like a bumper.
It was like an induction loop or that in there.
Yeah,
Like
but
this,
normally they fold up when they're driving.
Yeah, I was behind this for I don't know a couple miles, and I'm like, okay, there better be something going on ahead of me. And they just pulled off on the next exit and pulled over. They were going to do construction somewhere down the road. I'm like, why are they going so slow for 3 miles?
They're drag
just
racing
to pull off.
Because they can. Well, I mean, take a look at the truck in the opposite lane. Look at how he's weaving. It's like, oh, dude, just stay there. I'm kind of using you as a guide.
They were talking to each other.
Yeah. Oh, look at this jackass behind us.
Yeah, look at this asshole behind us.
He looks like he's getting real pissed. Let's just
wait. What do you mean I can't date your sister? I already banged her.
It's funny because there was a guy in I was in the right lane. There was a guy in the left lane, and like 3 times we just looked at each other and we're like, "What the fuck is going on here, man?" He's just like shrugged. I'm like,
"It's a trap. Don't do it."
Yeah, it's a trap.
It's a tarp. Okay. Today I got in behind the FedEx truck, and I knew where the FedEx truck was going because if you're going up my road, you're going to my house if you're in FedEx. And he kept slowing down to try to let us go by. I was like, dude, we're waiting on you.
I had that. I had that hat in front of my house this year.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm trying to get into my driveway.
Is tomorrow a holiday? Dead Horse
It is
saying.
for me.
Well,
It is for me.
It is a holiday. We're actually going in to do a heavy clean tomorrow. That's actually what I was just. It's funny you said that because I was just about to say we're probably going to cut it off here because I got to get up early. We're going in and doing a couple times like twice a year. We go in and do like a big clean day,
Well, that's a good point.
and take everything out of the cooler, power wash the cooler, shit that you just can't do when you're open.
Yeah.
We take 2 shop vacs up there and power wash the cooler and use the shop vacs to suck it up so it doesn't go all over the place. And we pulled the equipment out that's not easy to pull out, stuff that's not on wheels and stuff that's hard lined in there, and we just do it all in one day, so we're going to be doing that. I got to get up early.
Well, on behalf of everyone who doesn't like to die of bacterial infections, thank you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you just get your busboy to stop spitting in my burgers.
Nah. Shit, we don't even have a busboy anymore.
Okay, short busboy, whatever.
Yeah, well, that could be anybody. And you're going to have to be more specific.
I always hated to get cleaning the hood and the vents. That was good.
We do the hoods. We actually do our hoods every week to week and a half. We pull the vents down and do the insides, and then every 6 months we have a company come in to do the actual insides. You know what I mean? But yeah, we do our hoods every like 7 to 10 days. We take them all down and soak them and clean them.
Yeah, no, my first cooking job was in a Mexican restaurant, and man, the hood would get sometimes it would be dripping down on there after just a week.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, sometimes if it's real light, we'll take half of them down because the stuff that's over top of the certain stations isn't as bad,
right?
And so we'll just take the ones down over the grill half. But usually we take them down every week and a half, and it doesn't get that bad. Yeah. But yeah, they get pretty bad pretty quick, man. But, we're just it gives us a chance there'll be like 6 of us will come in and we'll just wreck the place. You know what I mean? Pull everything out that normally doesn't pull out. Like there's the one table table has it's hard lined for water, so we can't pull it out, and there's always stuff that gets behind the legs and up against and the wall behind it. You just can't move that, so we'll unscrew the damn pipe and slide the table out and get the scrub brush back there and do all that kind of shit that you just don't normally do. But and we try and keep it decent. We try and keep it good. There's a lot of places that don't. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you'd think they'd be. I mean, some places you hear of them coming in and checking restaurants like crazy right now, and some you don't. It's just, I guess it depends on who's in charge of it. Pennsylvania, it's different counties, or some places are the Department of Agriculture. Some places it's the city will do it. Some places it's like a county board will do it. So I guess it just depends on how busy they are and how much they trust you.
How much they want to be a pain in the rear. One of my local shooting ranges is Big Road by OSHA. I mean, they are riding them like a sea biscuit. The second time I saw OSHA in the shop, I was like, guys, what's going on? And they were like, I don't know. They've got a Woody for us right now.
Yeah. What are they looking at?
Their range, which is really super strange because it's probably the only range in this town that has any ventilation. The rest of them are giant lead factories. But they're on these guys. I think he pissed somebody off.
Yeah, could be. I mean, you're grandfathered in now, but the places that have to be up to code now that are being built, man, their fucking systems are so expensive.
Yeah, they've got an HVAC. They've got the whole ventilation system. It's good shit, and it is pleasant in that range. It's not like every other place in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, same if you're wanting to get into doing meat processing or start your own meat locker.
Anything. I don't care what it is. It seems like now if you have an older building, and you can be grandfathered in as far as some of the things for like handicap accessibility and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of people that do it anyway. There's a lot of stuff that's required that isn't, I'm going to say it's not necessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the angle of ramps and stuff like that. Like, if you have a ramp and I've seen people have to rip off ramps and redo them because they didn't make it long enough. So the grade was too much, and it was like, there was one that I was talking to somebody about. They built a handicapped ramp and then had it checked out, and they're like, oh, you're off by like 2 degrees or something. So they had to rip it down and ended up having to make the ramp like another foot longer or something.
Oh,
and it was like, it cost me $3,000 to rip that down and build a new one, for a foot for like 2 degrees of slope. I was like, oh, that's rough. That's pretty rough.
That's super rough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. $3,000's a lot of money when you own a restaurant.
$3,000's a lot of money if you own nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do that. Shit's about to crash anyway. Why does it matter anymore? Just build it, and when the lady from the government shows up, just start coughing and sneezing everywhere. Yeah. And didn't want nothing to do with it.
Well, OSHA didn't touch anything around here for 6 months, and they just showed up everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
Now they want to talk to everybody.
We want to know what you've been up to when we haven't been around.
Makes you wonder what happened. Who did what or said what or forgot to file something. That's what happens a lot of times is they forget to file some license, Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff in business. There's a lot of stuff in business, I should say, where if you file a renewal, it's no big deal. You just file a renewal, paperwork goes through and they sign off on it. But if you don't and they have to recheck, next thing you know, they haven't been out for 10 years because you've been renewing every year. and 1 year you didn't. Now they actually have to inspect you, and they're like, oh, you can't have that, and you can't have that, and you can't do that. We had some things happen in the restaurant because our hood system, and the hood system, if you don't know, in restaurants, has to be over top of all your hot cooking equipment
Exhaust.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your exhaust. It's really expensive to have hoods done. Especially if you have to do them custom, because somebody has to come in, do the stainless steel custom cutting, and not just anybody can weld stainless steel. You have to, know what you're doing to weld stainless steel, and it's really, really expensive. It can actually be less expensive if you just find, it's like if you get a prefab one and just throw it up. But so our hood system was only so wide when the restaurant was built, and we wanted to add equipment to it. So we added another range top, another 4 burners that wasn't there originally, which everything fit under the hoods with 6 inches of gap or whatever the hell it was supposed to be. But we had to have all the equipment like kind of, beside each other, kind of close. And, we got inspected 1 year, and this is after we'd done it for, who knows, 2-3 years. We've been like this. All of a sudden we got a new inspector, and they came in and they're like, you can't have that fryer that close to that range top. And we're like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, well, it has to be so far away from an open flame. Oh, we're like, oh shit. Well, okay. Well, we got no hoods. We got nowhere to go. We can't extend the hoods. We can't do anything like that. Like, what the fuck can we do? So like they made us have somebody come in, and we had to have somebody custom make like this shield on both sides of the fryer out of stainless steel. So that way the flame, it had like a buffer, you know what I mean? Just weird shit like that.
Yeah.
And we,
what company got that kickback?
Yeah.
Was that
we
in
also
Detroit?
found one of the other weird ones is if you've ever worked in a kitchen, one of the things that's really a pain in the ass when you clean at the end of the night is equipment, right? And we talked about that a little bit. Some equipment's on wheels, some of it's not. Some of it is hard line, some of it has flexible gas lines. There's all these different things that you can do. We were gonna put our fryer on casters because it was like, oh, it'll be really nice at the end of the night. We have the fryer on caster wheels, and then the gas line will be like a quick release where you can just pop the quick release off and move the fryer out of the way nice and easy, clean back there, mop and whatever. And we got bitched at for that and had to we were going to do it. We bought the casters, and then we got inspected and they wouldn't let us put them on. They said, no, it's too dangerous to have them on wheels. You have to have legs on a fryer so that it can't move around easily. And so now when you got to clean behind it, you got to like get 2 people to like tilt this big fucking fryer with oil in it and walk it out of the way and do all this crazy shit with it. And it's like, okay, asshole, which way is more dangerous? The one that we're like walking this fryer away, or that we could just move it with the wheels nice and gently and carefully? And they're like, well, yeah, but that's what it says. And it's like, all right, okay, whatever, man.
I personally know somebody who designed an escape stair system that will work inside of a windmill, but because OSHA does not want to deal with it and actually having a safe evacuation system, they won't even consider it. Every time they show up at one of those windmill conventions, they try to run them out. And how many people have burned to death in those things?
People go to a windmill convention. None, because they're all dead.
The guy who invents a safety evacuation system.
That's a good idea.
Honda says that they had a cook lean against the it was probably the Ansel system, and set off the spraying chemicals in the kitchen. It's probably like the foam, that fire retardant foam. Yeah, those are a fucking nightmare. I've never had one go off, but I've seen pictures of kitchens where they have, and yeah, it takes days to clean all that shit up.
Yeah,
and that's why those are not probably where that one was, where you could just lean on it. I mean, that's pretty fucking stupid to just have it somewhere where somebody can accidentally set it off. Ours is like on the opposite side of the wall, like 7 feet in the air, where you have to reach up and pull down this like handle,
Right.
It's not so tall that somebody even like 5 foot tall couldn't get it. They could reach up and grab it, but you have to reach up to grab it.
It's an intentional thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like whoever built a place that you could accidentally trip that is a fucking idiot, and they should have sued them.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Could you imagine being in that kitchen when that halon system went off?
Nah, man, that's crazy. Yeah, that shit's like, I mean, just I've always had a fear of breaking one of the vials. They used to the systems used to have
the sprinklers.
Basically how the sprinklers, like they have these little glass vials in them, and when they get to a certain temperature, they break, and when they break, the things come together and it trips the system, and it sprays, it goes whatever. But I've always, because they stick down pretty far, and we actually we have at our saute station, we have a 6-burner stove, and then above it is a salamander, a broiler, and it sticks about halfway out of the range. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
when you're cooking, your pots and pans in the back are actually underneath the salamander. They're underneath the broiler. And we worked like that from the day we opened with that. It's the same oven as the day that restaurant opened. And it opened up in 2005. 3 years ago, an inspector came in and told us that it's not compliant. 12 years, inspectors never said a thing every year, even when it was built. And 3 years ago, they had to have somebody come in and put another set of jets, like the extinguishing jets, underneath that, and they stick down. So when you saute, like there's been a couple of times where I've bumped them. I've bumped them with pans, and I know it's not going to go off. Like, I know that it's not. It takes more than that. It's not that simple to just knock it. But it makes me nervous as shit. I'm like, one of these times, if I spin around with a pan and catch it wrong, am I going to set this goddamn thing off? It drives me crazy.
That's when just get in your car and leave.
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, well, I guess I'm not a cook anymore. See ya later, suckers.
My shift just ended.
I'm going to work at a petting zoo. Yeah.
Later, send me my check for my 10% I own of this place. I'm out.
Yeah. Honda said, I think what happened is it is a handle you have to pull. It got caught on his shirt when he stepped away from the wall. That's what I'm saying, though. That shit should never be anywhere where you could accidentally touch it. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, some of the pole ones used to have like a little glass rod or it was like actually the handle was molded in to where it actually took a fair amount of force to pull it, not just I caught my shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
I was hanging my clothes on the sprinkler head in the hotel room. You ever see that? It says, do not hang your clothes on it.
Yeah. You do it just out of spite. If you wouldn't have told me not to do it, I would have never done it.
I would have never thought that I could have.
My rebel came out.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I say we lock it up. I need to get some sleep. I got to get up early.
Yeah,
do some scrub-a-dub-dubbing.
Yeehaw.
Got to stop at the Wally World, pick up a new pack of teeth brush to make sure you get all the nooks and crannies.
You know what's really funny is I actually busted out a new toothbrush last week, and I almost took a picture of it and put it on Instagram, because when you have a toothbrush for a long time and then you bust out a brand new one, don't you feel like accomplished?
Oh, yeah.
Like you felt like you did something healthy for yourself or something?
Yep.
Like,
no, mostly that this thing feels weird. And I
not
thought I
weird
needed
for
a
me.
medium bristles.
For me, it's always like I'm finally getting the tooth cleaning that I should have been getting this whole time.
Right? You feel like, man, I'm really doing something good for myself now. I'm really taking care of myself.
The dentist will overlook 6 years of never flossing.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna post like a before and after, like the one wore down to the nub.
It's all chewed up. Yeah.
You realize
And
it's years since you got a new one, and now your gums are bleeding.
Yeah. Looks like you're spitting ketchup. It was funny because I was like, I wonder how many other people can have that feeling where they're just like, oh man, I don't know. It's just funny. Yeah.
So
worked at a hotel. Someone complained about the water. She got what the Jesus Christ! What a mess that is. Read Honda's comments.
Yeah,
that's uplifting.
Yeah, way to go, Honda.
See, Honda, this is why they don't let you have a screwdriver anymore.
That's right.
I only got one.
Ozark. See, that's the kind of stuff. Now I got to go check and see if I got unsubscribed to Ozark because he said, thanks for the videos lately. Nice, even-tempered rants. Please keep them coming. I haven't seen a notification from Ozark in quite a while. I bet you I got unsubscribed to him again. Or unsubscribed to him too. Like I've been to a couple of people. It's weird. And I comment on his videos too. It's not like I just watch them and take off. I'll leave comments and shit.
I've stopped getting notifications for a lot of people.
Yeah. You know what else really sucks on the app is they changed the app so that when
Like
you go to, if you go to like not your subscriptions or whatever, it used to be on the bottom right, library, then subscriptions, then notifications. They put the damn notifications, they moved them all the way to the top and put the button to go live in the middle and the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's weird because you used to be able to hit notifications or subscriptions from anywhere on the app, like any screen. Now you can't always do that. Like if it's on if you hit home or whatever, like it's just not as easy to use. And how fast do you need to go live? Like they made the go live button like the one that you need to hit on the fly. I used to hit the notification button all the time. It's weird. It's stupid.
Oh, it really
like, just
sucks.
change
Once
shit
you
to
go to
change
your
shit.
once you go to your subscriptions, it'll have like an immovable bar of the little icons of all the people you subscribe to, and it won't. You scroll up and it doesn't go away. It's like just stuck there. It's like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah, Seven Wonders. I miss the ability to click someone's screen name and go to their channel. That is for sure some of the dumbest shit that they did. Because there's so many channels that they're not easy to find.
Well, wasn't that part of that whole, we're protecting the children bullshit?
Well, it was because people were doing sub for sub too. A lot. And they wanted to curb that, I think. But now the thing is like, if somebody's name is like Jim Burns or something, that's so generic. You want to go to Jim Burns' channel, you go type in Jim Burns, there's going to be 5,000 fucking Jim Burns. You're never going to find
Jim
them.
Burns Farm, Jim Burns hot dog sandwiches, Jim Burns cream for getting rid of burning.
Jim Burns' ex-wife's house down. What?
And on top of that, now you're not, unless you're a mod, you can't always put stuff in the chat to your channel, like a link. It's really weird. It's like very stifling for growth,
Yeah, I think it'll encourage people though to get a name that's easy to recognize. When I selected my name, I ensured that I chose a name that people would never forget. It's not like Moo or Abe or Boss,
Yeah.
You unoriginal bastards.
Nighthawk, go back to inventorying your bottles of water and ibuprofen.
Yeah.
By the way, I got this itch. Can you take a look?
Yeah.
Dude, did I ever tell you the story?
Probably.
About the guy from South Mississippi? I don't know. Do we have time for me to tell a quick story?
Sure.
All right, so a guy comes into my clinic. He's from South Mississippi, and he talked just like this. And
That's racist.
he walked up to me and he said, "Hey, Doc, my ball hanging thing is all red." And I said, "Your balls are all red?" "Yeah, my ball hanging thing is all red." And I said, "All right, Trooper, well, go ahead." And we walked him to do an exam room. I said, "Drop trowel," and I pulled on some gloves, and I inspected him, and he was unremarkable, which is the word in medicine for there's nothing wrong with you. And so I've learned over the years that a lot of times people are just not telling you the whole story. And if you break eye contact with them, sit down and pretend like you're doing something else, like memoing in their chart, they'll talk to you and they'll kind of give up more information. So I went over and sit down and I started memoing, and I was like, "So, hey man, tell me some more." I said, "There doesn't appear to be anything weird about your testicles." And he said, "No, my ball hangy. And he points to his uvula in the back of his throat. He had a sore throat. So he went back to his unit and said, "Jesus Christ, don't go up to the clinic. I told Doc I had a sore throat and he played with my ball."
No, then you got like a rush of people coming in. Just tell them you're hanging. Sound like the Cajun cook.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
that's yeah, that's the way to do it, man. Everybody and their brother would be up there.
Anyway.
All right.
This awkward silence is brought to you by
Ozark.
Oh,
Apparently, Ozark missed the part of the show, so I had to put this definition back up there for him. So. Yeah. All right. So I say we lock it up. I think yeah, homo where you'd like to see homos naked. Homo where you make it. Like the water boy.
Yep, that's exactly what it was
Joe
like.
Dirt. Yeah, Joe Dirt. Yeah, you do whatever you want, man. That's cool. I don't want nothing to do with that. All right. So you guys got anything to plug?
Yeah, I've got a new video coming out in 45 minutes.
Oh snap! Mr. 2:15 in the morning putting his fucking videos out for the insomniacs and the crackheads.
The
kids need loving too.
Or the people on call with the ringer still on, and it goes bloop.
Bloop, bloop. There you
Get a
go.
notification.
Get your pants halfway on, out the door, and you realize, oh, it's a video. Never mind.
Guess I could turn off notifications on.
Or just make it a different notification.
Yeah.
There you go.
Honey.
Ape, Moo, you guys got anything going on?
Moo got none.
Moo got nothing?
One thing I'm going to plug is the Christmas tree lights.
And making sure that you remember where you put the ladder when you get up on the roof.
There you go.
Don't want to be falling through the ceiling.
Remember, you step on the studs, not over them.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Defense Dad, Foss, you guys got anything?
Oh, I put out a video this week. I got one that'll release on Tuesday, but other than that, not much.
Yeah, big shot, Mr. Just shoot all the ammo I can.
Yeah, T11 owes me lunch for the last one.
I'd shoot more, but my trigger finger was tired.
What he shot a box of ammo. Would you have to buy him a whole beef Wellington or something? That's about what it costs nowadays.
No, we had a shooting contest. And we tagged it on the end of the video, and we both shot both 1911s that I won. So he owes me lunch and a beer.
It would be worth it. It'd be worth it not to shoot the ammo and just buy him lunch and be done with it. It'd be cheaper.
Well, let's be honest, dude. Neither one of us had family do anything on Thanksgiving. We were going to spend the day at the range anyway.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Plus, now you got bragging rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did. Neither one of us shot worth of shit anyway. But I was the best of the worst.
You're less shitty.
The best of the worst. Yeah, if it was a monster truck rally, you'd have been the fast loser. All right, and I'm gonna throw Moo. I'm gonna throw you in the back and bring Barbecue up here if he's still with us. Barbecue, you still awake, buddy?
Oh yeah, I'm still awake.
You got anything to plug?
I'm putting out videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. At this point, then anything that I think is pertinent that's happening or anything like that, I'll punch in on Tuesdays, Thursdays, or whatever other day I'm not having other content released. So that's it, really. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely, buddy. Yeah. If I'm not sure if he's planning on doing one this week, but I talked about it last week. He was on the show last week too, actually, as a matter of fact. Blind Grilling has been doing some. He's had a couple of food chats the last 2 weeks that have been super fun. So if you're not subscribed to Blind Grilling, go ahead and do that. And I will I'll throw his channel link in. Oops. I'll throw a quick channel link or something in here. In the chat. There it is. Blind Grilling, 2 words. Share. Copy link. Give me a second here. Sorry. There you go. So, so there's a link to Blind Grilling's channel. Really super fun food chat. The guy, we were bullshitting last week a little bit, and really surprised he doesn't have a background in food because he really seems to know what he's talking about, which is really cool. So, and they do a really good job of interacting with the guests in the chats. They didn't have a ton of people in the chats, so it's kind of nice. They can actually go back and forth with people, but I always try and do that, and that's always a great part of these smaller chats. A lot of people, we were talking about this earlier, is some of these larger chats, man, they just do not give a shit what you're saying in the chat. And I will say a lot of the stuff in the chat's nonsense and it's bullshit and there's trolls and it's a lot of that shit and you got to weed through all that. But these smaller chats are a lot of fun because of that, because of the interaction and being able to actually come in and ask questions and actually have somebody, hear you out and listen to you and help you out maybe. So check them out because it was really, it's really been a couple of fun chats last week and the week before. I even jumped in for a couple of minutes last week talking about turkey. I was talking about gravy, actually, how I do my turkey and turkey stock because they were talking turkey. So check them out. It's a really good dude doing some cool stuff. So until next week, I really, really, really thanks for you guys watching. I appreciate it. And take it easy. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.